Franz and ABC News.
Now, stock futures this morning are mixed. We've got Dow futures minus 134, but the NASDAQ futures are plus 82, and the S&P futures are up 7 points. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather just ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looks pretty quiet this morning on the roadways heading into Nashville. You've got some delays on 65 southbound side heading into the Goodlettsville area. Otherwise, I'm not seeing any delays this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. How are you doing? I've had a crap show of a morning. We'll talk about that at 5:35. I don't know the infrastructure of this company. I don't want to get into it now because you always got to, hit the ground running with content, Joan.
Yes, I heard this.
But for the love of all that is holy, can we do something about the infrastructure of this company? Wait till you hear about my morning. Anyway, all of that and more coming up at 5:35 on Nashville's Morning News.
It can only get better. That's all I have to say.
That's exactly right, Joan.
Yeah.
It can only get better. Only at Cumulus Nashville can getting a cup of coffee be like a complete train wreck. And that is what happened here. And that is why I feel woefully unprepared this morning. However, we're going to get right to
content.
That's right. You think anything is going to come of this Obama, Tulsi Gabbard going after Obama, trying to frame Trump for Russian collusion?
Look, she's making referrals. So,
she is. She is.
I think that's the next step that maybe some of us weren't expecting.
So here's a couple of things. Number one, I thought that presser yesterday, Tulsi Gabbard, absolutely dropped a bomb on Obama. I love what she's doing. And that was 10 minutes of just complete flame throwing. Tulsi Gabbard just laying it all on the line with Barack Obama and how they lied about Donald Trump leading into his first term in office regarding Russian collusion. So, unfortunately, we are not able, for whatever reason, to post onto the YouTube Daily Dan poll. We are broadcasting on YouTube. However, we can't put a poll up. However, if you want to go to follow me on X and take the poll there, because I do have a poll up, and the question basically is, do you believe that anything will come of Tulsi Gabbard's investigation into Barack Obama's framing of Donald Trump? And so I think this is going to be, first of all, we're going to be talking about this for a long time. Can I tell you, though, real quickly, Joan, why I'm worried that this all may be, as they say, for naught?
For naught, yes. I think we all have that, like, icky feeling in our stomach that this is going to be for nothing.
So I think that here's why I'm cynical. But please take the poll. Follow me on X at Dan Manda Show. Here's why I'm cynical. I'm cynical because this will ultimately, I assume, have to go to a grand jury, right? So grand jury, this is how this all works, right? It's got to go to a grand jury, and then it'll go into Washington, D.C. That's where the grand jury will be. Mm-hmm. Well, we all know that in Washington, D.C., you're talking about a very, very, very blue jury pool.
Why does it have to go to Washington, D.C.?
Because that's where Obama lives, and because that's where these infractions happened, right?
Well, I mean, he has several homes. It could be in...
I think his official residence is Washington, D.C.
I think it is.
So, because it'd be awfully nice if maybe it was in, I don't know. Well, he's not going to live... Obama's not going to live in, like, Tennessee.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to live in either Chicago. Okay, so let's do it in Chicago. Well, Chicago also extremely blue.
Yeah.
I don't know about Hawaii, where I think he's got a place too. But whatever. All I'm saying is that my concern is that if this is ultimately something that we expect to see go into a court of law, it's got to go through a grand jury first. At least that's what usually happens. And by the way, I'm no attorney. But if they're going to go to a grand jury, then that jury pool is going to be Washington, D.C. That is going to be extremely Democrat, progressive. You're going to have a lot of people that maybe work for the federal government. A lot of those people may have just been fired by Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm worried that this whole thing could be for naught. However, I also believe that it is important for the American people to know exactly what the Obama administration in their final days were up to. Now, Tulsi Gabbard did a great job of all of this yesterday. Did you hear what she said about Vladimir Putin and Hillary Clinton?
Oh, no.
All right. So part of this discussion is how the media was complicit in all of this. We'll talk about that as well. But this is where she talks about, Tulsi Gabbard is talking about Vladimir Putin and what he had on Hillary Clinton. Listen to this. If I could, Sam, can I get some audio, please? Thank you. Here we go.
Putin's principal interests relating to the 2016 election were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process, not show any preference of a certain candidate. In fact, this report shows Putin held back from leaking compromising material on Hillary Clinton prior to the election, instead planning to release it after the election to weaken what Moscow viewed as an inevitable Clinton presidency.
So, Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service possessed DNC communications, that Hillary was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. And Bill Clinton somewhere saying, yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Stated the report, and apparently she was also on heavy tranquilizers.
Ooh, so doesn't that make you think about when they had to walk her into the car and she was falling down?
That is exactly what I thought of. Or maybe the balloons. Remember when all those balloons came down?
Yes.
And Hillary, had this really weird, I don't know what to call it, that really bizarre look on her face.
Yeah.
Of course, Hillary, the uncontrolled fits of anger, throwing stuff at Bill.
Yes.
Of course, she just found out he had an affair, but other than that. Clinton, they say, was placed on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. And while afraid of losing, she remained obsessed with a thirst for power. Now, remember, this is from the DNC.
Whoa.
This is intelligence that Russia had from DNC communications. So they apparently hacked into the DNC. And some of this is like, well, we knew that the Russians hacked into the DNC communications.
Yeah.
And Vladimir Putin held on to this so that he assumed that she was going to win. And so he wanted to have this on Hillary if she won the presidency, because, again, he was, like a lot of other people, were assuming that she was going to win. Lord help us, because she had uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, cheerfulness, with these intensified psycho-emotional problems. You know, you could have just stopped at psycho with Hillary.
Sounds manic, doesn't it? So she's
absolutely, it sounds
super happy
manic.
and then throwing things.
That's exactly right. Well, she's probably happy throwing things at Bill Clinton. Honestly, you know, let's be honest. Ladies, if you were married to Bill Clinton, wouldn't you want to throw something at him too?
Oh, yeah.
Perpetual cheater. All I'm saying is dude was probably still is, even at his age. But if Hillary's my wife, I'm going to be honest. I'm just kidding. There's no justification for cheating. All I'm saying is that he made his bed, Hillary was in it, and he wanted to be nowhere near it. It would appear. Jones off the quiet. By September of 26.
I'm letting you dig your own.
Is that what you're doing? You're letting me go ahead and dig my own hole? All right, very good. They say that by September of 2016, some of these communications showed then President Barack Obama and Democratic Party bosses, they found the state of Clinton's health extraordinarily alarming and fretted that it could have a serious negative impact on her ability to beat Donald Trump in November. And those heavy tranquilizers, I bet you there were times when Bill Clinton was like, can we get in the tranquilizers? You know what I mean? Anyway, here's more about what Tulsi Gabbard. Remember how much Hillary hated Tulsi Gabbard?
Yes, I do. Hillary's the one that called her a Russian asset.
That's exactly right, Joan.
Yes.
A Russian asset. Here's what Hillary says about Tulsi Gabbard.
In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory. The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department.
Wow. So it sounds like a bigger case could be made that there was actually collusion between Hillary and these religious leaders if all of this played out. And, I mean, it goes on. I've got some more audio. I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to come of this or not. It is 5:16 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Time to check the roads.
Well, looking pretty good this morning. I don't see any delay so far on 24 as you make your way in this morning. Does look slow on 65 in the southbound side right around the Goodlettsville area. Otherwise, 40 is looking pretty good as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 5:17 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As far as your weather goes, it is going to be hot again today. Generally sunny despite a few afternoon clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High near 97, feels like 104.
That's nice.
It's really not.
I know.
Did you go out at all yesterday? I went home and I just sat.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I just sat. I didn't go work out. I just got home and I sat. That's all I did.
Yeah. It's pretty miserable.
It is pretty miserable. So is Hillary Clinton this morning, I'm sure. So
I'd love to see her response to all of this.
You know what? Check Sam, can you check her Twitter?
Twitter account, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if she has. You know what I bet, Joan? I bet that Hillary has once again called Tulsi Gabbard a Russian asset.
Mm-hmm.
But she's taken out the word Russian and set. Huh?
Okay, that was kind of funny.
Ba-da-ba. All right, anyway. They also spoke about, with Hillary Clinton, they also spoke about the State Department and how the State Department apparently was working with the Clinton campaign to make sure that the entire State Department, because remember, she was Secretary of State, goes out and voted for Hillary.
They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign.
Right. And so you've got the Clinton campaign working with religious leaders, which I believe, I mean, they say that is illegal. You know, you can't say, hey, religious leaders, if you support the Hillary campaign, we'll make sure that you get extra cash from the Obama administration. You can't do that. But that is what Tulsi Gabbard has uncovered. And so at this point, all of this to say that Putin wasn't trying to help Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. What he was trying to do was create doubt in our political process. And Joan, what's crazy about all of this is that I was in this chair way back when saying the same exact thing because that's what the reporting was. So then they start talking about John Brennan.
Yeah. This really gets me.
I got to tell you.
Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
That is not what happened at all. So they ignore the facts that are present, that Vladimir Putin is simply trying to cause chaos, and instead they put forward literally a new set of facts that creates the narrative that Vladimir Putin is trying to help Donald Trump, and that Trump was in on it.
Brennan and the IC misled lawmakers by referencing the debunked Steele dossier to assess, quote-unquote, Russia's plans and intentions, falsely suggesting that this dossier had intelligence value when he knew that it was discredited.
Yep.
The intelligence community excluded significant intelligence and ignored or selectively quoted reliable intelligence that contradicted the intelligence community assessment's key findings on Putin's alleged support for Trump. Including this intelligence reporting would have exposed the ICA's claim as implausible, if not ridiculous.
So you had what, I mean, I'm going to use a legal term, exculpatory evidence within the Obama administration, where the evidence was like, oh no, Vladimir Putin is not trying to help Donald Trump. They ignored that to create their own narrative using false evidence that Trump was being helped by the Russians, and apparently Donald Trump was in on it. By the way, this audio bite was making its way through the interwebs yesterday, where John Brennan, she was just talking about John Brennan, and this is the moment that John Brennan actually committed perjury in front of Congress.
Did the CIA rely on it?
No.
Why not?
Because we didn't. It wasn't part of the corpus of intelligence information that we had. It was not in any way used as a basis for the intelligence community assessment that was done. It was not.
So there you have John Brennan saying in front of Congress under oath that they didn't use the dirty dossier to create this, bed of evidence regarding Donald Trump. But clearly there was back and forth, and it's in the documents that they did. And so he did commit perjury, at least it sounds like, according to Tulsi Gabbard and many other legal eagles that I've been reading over the last 24 hours. It is 5:22 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So Hillary has been silent. Sam looked up her Twitter feed, and Hillary has been silent. Maybe she's on heavy doses of tranquilizers, and she just doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Maybe. I think her account is at least tweeted by somebody else. She might be, telling them what to post. But a lot of praise for Kathy Hochul. It's just pushing the party line on her Twitter feed. She has something pinned from October 2024 that cracks me up about why Kamala would be the better option for president. She'll
Are you
give you
kidding?
a voice. Oh, yeah.
Are
She's
you
got
kidding?
it pinned to the top of her Twitter feed. It's a CNN interview.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay, good.
I don't know why she'd be proud of that.
Again, maybe, well, again, you're right. She's clearly not handling her own X account, but whoever is, actually, no, you know what? I think she probably is handling her own account, because if somebody was actually watching her account, they would take that pin down. They would unpin that whatever it is. So can you imagine if she was like president and she treated America like she does her X account?
It's just somebody else doing all the running and talking.
Sure, it's exactly right. All right, well, let's do this. 524, Nashville's Morning News, and Joan has the news coming up at 5:30.
Yeah, just how long is this heat wave going to last? Stefano's take on that coming up here. Also, what Congressman Andy Ogles has to say about the House taking early summer vacation. Those stories and more coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
529, Nashville's Morning News. Hey, Joan.
Yes, sir.
I think that if I were married to Hillary Clinton, I would want to be tranquilized as opposed to the other.
Well, I admit, have you ever wondered, have you heard Bill Clinton speaking lately?
Is very hoarse.
He's hoarse. He's slower.
Do you think she's poisoning him?
Oh, slow poisoning.
Do you think Bill Clinton is being Clintoned by Hillary or Killary?
Whoa.
You know what?
That's quite a story.
It is quite a story.
Yeah.
Sam, why are you letting us go down these conspiracy theories? Come on, man.
You're supposed to make us stop.
That's exactly right. All right, very good. I actually, just so we're clear, I don't believe that Hillary is poisoning Bill Clinton slowly. Oh, man. But, yeah, I don't think Bill is in bad health.
He is.
I mean, I don't know he's always had like a hoarse voice, though. You know what I mean?
Well,
he's always had a hoarse voice and a jackass for a wife. Hey, right there. Ba-da-ba. Got to go. 5:30, Nashville's Morning News on WTN.
Ugh. Good morning. It's 5:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. I hate myself for laughing at that joke. In the news, we are not getting a break from Mother Nature anytime soon. Stefano DiPietro is telling us that this heat wave will stretch into next week. Today certainly will feel uncomfortable.
Heat index, this is just the next 4 days, 105 to 110 degrees across most of the area. Could even feel hotter than that in some locations. Excessive heat warning, or an extreme heat warning, I should say, in far west middle Tennessee. Most of the rest of the mid-state heat advisory today. The exception, once again, is out in the Cumberland Plateau.
Now, as always, check out his full forecast in about 3 minutes.
Camp residents, this is the Office of Emergency Management. We have cold water for you.
Yeah, whenever the heat index reaches 105 or higher, there's a team in Davidson County that goes out and distributes cold water to Nashville's homeless. Nashville Emergency Support Unit tells Channel 4 that the heat wave this year is a little different.
We'll have a spell here and a spell there, but this has kind of been the longest stretch I've seen. Sometimes just a couple of bottles of water can make a difference, in cooling your body down.
Yeah, this unit's been doing the same mission voluntarily since the 1950s. They'll be out there again today for sure. Speaker Mike Johnson called an early recess, foregoing a vote on bipartisan legislation that was aimed at forcing the release of Epstein documents. But Tennessee 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles tells the Matt Murphy Show he would rather stay in Washington and vote.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm always one of those voices that says, look, as we barrel towards another CR continuing resolution, let's stay here over the weekend. Let's work longer days. And let's get through the appropriations process. I mean, that normal, it's called normal order, which simply is creating a budget.
Yeah, current funding of the federal government runs out at the end of September. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Got a minor delay on 40 eastbound around the airport area, and some minor delays on 65 southbound around the Goodlettsville area. But otherwise, I'm not seeing any problems heading in this morning so far. We'll keep our fingers crossed it stays that way. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.536, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, coming up, Joan and Sam. We are going to be playing Fun with Audio. So if you folks know what that is, if you've been listening to the show for a while, that is where we just play some audio. I just play some audio. We have not heard it, and we just react to it. And Joan, you know the first audio bite that I'm going to play?
What is it?
Features Maisie Hirono.
Ooh, gosh.
The nut job senator out of Hawaii.
Crazy Maisie.
Crazy Maisie, that's right. So real quick, though, just, and I'm not saying this to bash the company, but I come in this morning and I try to make a pot of coffee and something happens. I don't know what's happening. I same thing every morning. I go and I make my coffee and then I come talk to Joan. Then I go back to, to the kitchen to pour myself a cup of joe. I go back into the kitchen. There is coffee everywhere. There are coffee grounds everywhere. And I'm like, what in the world? So I'm just sitting here trying to, clean it up and what have you. It was the biggest mess ever. And so I'm thinking, okay, because this happens sometimes. So me, in my infinite wisdom, clean it up. Then you know what I did, Joan?
Did you make another pot of coffee?
I made another pot of coffee.
Did it happen again?
It happened again.
No.
So,
no.
Do you know what it was?
No.
As I'm making that second pot of coffee, I'm actually looking at the coffee pot because I'm trying to figure out what the heck happened the first time. It shatters. The coffee pot had a hole in it. And so the second pot, the thing just decided to break. And so now I've got a second pot of coffee that is all over the the kitchen.
Gosh.
I've also got coffee grounds. I've also got now shattered glass everywhere. This is how my morning began.
I'm so sorry. And you didn't even call for help.
So I end up spending probably 35 to 45 minutes this morning cleaning up the mess because I didn't want anybody else to slip or fall or whatever. So
you can't even stop. Like once it starts dripping, it doesn't.
Yeah,
care.
Once it comes out of the drip starts coming out into the pot, you can't stop it. And I'm just like, stop!
So sorry,
man alive. And you know what? And Sam. So just when you came in, Sam, and you walked by the kitchen.
Yeah.
I was in the mid. Did you not notice that I had a mop in my hand?
I did not. In fact, I actually shot you a thumbs up right out of my pocket.
And I shot a middle finger back at you.
I'm number one,
man. So, yeah, it was a complete and utter nightmare this morning. So
what's the state of it now? Is it cleaned up?
Yeah, it's all cleaned up. I just checked on it. It's all cleaned up. I went and I warned the other radio stations as a courtesy that
you got no coffee today.
I went downstairs and I grabbed another coffee pot.
Oh, good job.
Because in the midst of all of this, do you know what my biggest concern was? Making a cup of coffee for myself. That was my biggest concern.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, you want to do some fun with audio?
Sure.
All right, so let's see here. It needs some audio if I could. This is under the title, and I have not heard this. This is audio that is sent to me from a prep service and so forth. And so this is Maisie Hirono, and the title of the audio is She Never Changes. Here we go.
I do have one yes or no question for Mr. Hamilton. I know you're involved in DEI cases, but has any court opined that DEI is unconstitutional? Yes or no?
Yes.
Which court?
United States Supreme Court.
I disagree with you because you're talking about the Harvard case. And
You can go read it yourself.
and if I do have one.
So he's challenging her, obviously.
Go read it yourself, lady.
Go read it yourself, Maisie Hirono.
She wanted so bad to catch him.
So she can use the word opined, but she doesn't know what precedent means.
Well, and the funny thing is, she's got it written down. It looks like somebody handed her a little piece of paper and basically told her to read it. Do you know what I wonder? Who was the senator? It was either a senator or a congresswoman, Yeah, it was a woman. And I forget who it was, but they kept handing this woman pieces of paper and whispering in her ear, telling her what to say as she was going back and forth with a witness. Do you remember that, Joan?
Yeah, I do, and I can't
wish I
remember
could remember
was.
who it was, but
somebody on the super text line will know.
I remember thinking, this is somebody who is in Congress. I think it was obviously it was either a representative or a senator, but it was really embarrassing. All right, is MAGA leaving Trump over the Epstein files? They say John King has some analysis on this. John King is over on CNN. This is what he had to say. And by the way, I will say the answer is no. But this is what they said on CNN.
This would be less of an issue for the president if, this has actually split MAGA in many ways. In some ways, it's the first real example we've seen of that.
Well, I think you've seen the sort of influencer, self-described influencer salon here basically in Washington that's completely spun up about it. The surveys I see of regular voters say that they're a whole lot more worried about can they afford a house? Are mortgage rates too high? What's going to happen with the economy? What's going to happen with trade?
And this is a guy named Brad Todd. Two first names, Brad Todd. And I think he's got a point here, where he's like, you know what, the influencers, they are all spun up on this, but I don't know. The reaction that I'm getting, the more people that I speak to, the more I realize your everyday people, they are sitting back and they're enjoying the wins. They are enjoying the wins, and the Epstein thing, it's just another example, I think a lot of people would say, of Russia collusion.
Yes.
Where this is the left, and they're trying to trap Donald Trump into something. And I think the Wall Street Journal story on the birthday card message, naked woman drawing, that is a flat out perfect example of what they're trying to do, because there's no evidence that thing actually existed. And by the way, the funny thing is, where is the media saying when they reference this story that the Wall Street Journal, without evidence, is accusing Donald Trump of drawing this card? Because remember, that's their whole thing. Anytime they would say anything about Donald Trump, it's always, if Trump is claiming whatever it might be, they'd always say without evidence.
Yes.
So now, when the shoe's on the other foot, and the Wall Street Journal is accusing Trump of doing something, it is truly without evidence. And yet they're afraid to say anything about how the Wall Street Journal has no evidence.
And the point that the speaker, Mike Johnson, raised yesterday resonates, and it needs to be said over and over and over again. They've been knives out for Donald Trump for years, since 2016. It's been over 10 years.
Yep.
If there was something in the files, they've been trying to nail his coffin shut forever.
That's what Donald Trump said the other day.
They would have brought it out. They would have dragged this out before.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
They have been trying to find anything to stop him.
You think Wall Street Journal is going to get hit with that? Trump is hitting them with a massive lawsuit. Do you think they're going to lose that lawsuit? I think they probably will.
I think they definitely will. But they came out with the new one yesterday, and I don't know how sincere this is, but the one yesterday was that Donald Trump was told back in May that his name appears many times in the files.
Okay, but we knew that his name was in the files.
Exactly.
What is the context of his name being in the files?
And they can't explain that. Of course, because if they reveal what's in the files,
Right.
They'd be in big trouble.
Here's more from Brad Todd, and at some point, John King.
I think that the president's right to try to refocus attention on that because I think voters do care about it more. But you're correct that the talk radio influencers, the clickbait
Ooh, talk radio influencers.
Yes, that's you. They're talking about you.
I honestly don't believe I'm influencing anybody, but whatever. Here's more.
Attention on that because I think voters do care about it more. But you're correct that the talk radio influencers, the clickbait influencers, those people, they think this is ripe for profit.
I just reached out to a whole bunch of our Trump voters from our All Over the Map project. And you're right, actually. You're right. None of them said they're turning on the president. And they all say costs, the economy are way more important to them. But they also say this smells. They also say this smells and they want to know why. And they think they're hiding something. You may be exactly right. We'll see. And what matters a year from now matters a whole lot more than now about the political impact. But a lot of these people are Trump voters, not necessarily Republican voters. And so do they show up in the midterms? And it could be the tiniest little thing on the margins, as we learn in every one of our elections. So they do. I agree with you that it might not be the most important thing to your everyday Trump voter out there, but it's still important. And they think they're being lied to.
And I think that is true. I think that there's a lot of people that do believe that something does smell, because I think that it does. Do you know what? And I was trying to pin down Tim Burchett yesterday.
Yeah.
Where it was like, okay, so Trump says release the grand jury information, and he's been telling Pam Bondi to release all the pertinent information. You've got the Republicans and Mike Johnson, who is saying, yes, we want to see everything released. Obviously, the Democrats smell blood in the water, so they want to see this information released. It's like everybody wants it released. Well, then what the heck are we waiting for? But the Republicans are saying that they want this released the right way. And I think that is important because for Mike Johnson, what he said, and I played the audio yesterday, part of what he said is we need to release this the right way, where victims will not be re-victimized, where innocent people will not be exposed. And as Tim Burchett said, we have a situation where people may have just taken, like Donald Trump, for example, where people may have just taken a ride on the plane, not knowing anything was going on, or they may have gone to a party at Epstein's house, not knowing what was going on. And I think that's part of the conversation about Donald Trump. The media yesterday, remember we talked about this, Joan, where CNN is like breathlessly reporting that they've got Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein in never-seen-before footage. And it's like, well, and I noticed, by the way, one of the things that they said was not never seen. They actually said it's never been published. So I had seen some of these images on the internet like for years where Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were together at various functions. Epstein had showed up at Trump's wedding in 1993. All of this stuff is already known, but CNN, to your point, Joan, with the last nail in the coffin, CNN is reporting this like it's new news. And
exactly.
It wasn't. It wasn't new news.
Right.
So I don't know.
Those photos have been out there for forever.
Well, they have been, and I, my own 2 cents on this whole thing is that I believe that the American people know that something is amiss here, but I think that we've had a lot of wins. Donald Trump has had a lot of wins, and so I think that personally, I think this is going to be one of those things where it is my hope anyway that people do focus on the positives of what Donald Trump has accomplished and what the Republicans have accomplished. But at the same time, we can all continue to focus on what is going on with Epstein and keep an eye on that, because I think that it is important that those people, the pedophiles, they are held accountable. So we'll have to wait and obviously see what happens with that. This is Jasmine Crockett. Real quickly.
This is always a gem.
It always is. And I don't know. She says that Democrats will use dark money to try to win back Congress in the midterms. All right, so this is Jasmine Crockett.
We also know that there are donors that I'm sure are going to be willing to make sure that they are investing and making sure that they can take down some of these candidates since they don't want to rule out dark money. I'm sure some dark money gonna pour in on the behalf of the American people. So what I am saying is every tactic, as well as making sure we're touching people.
Please don't touch me, Jasmine Crockett.
Stay 10 feet back.
Man, that whole social distancing thing when it comes to Jasmine Crockett, that's... Yeah. All right. Now, Sam was telling me that the New York Times, as it relates to Trump and Epstein, has, and by the way, she did say use every tactic necessary. To me, that is a dog whistle for cheating. So talk about, Sam, you said the New York Times has run how many articles on Trump and Epstein?
So in the last week alone, I like to use this word I learned called sensationalism. They have published 15 articles relating to Trump and Epstein in some capacity, with one of them coming 46 minutes ago, Trump's name in the Epstein files. And they're just trying to hammer home this topic to make it look bad.
Do you know what's so funny is, and I don't mean to belabor the point, but again, everybody knew that his name was in the Epstein files. So you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to repackage the same information.
Yes.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to repackage the same information, and they're trying to make new hay out of old stories. And I think...
So let me just read from the things that bother me about this article.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Go.
His name appeared multiple times, according to senior administration officials.
Huh.
And that's all it is. It's these uncited sources. Again, we went through all of this.
We went through all of this with Russian collusion and any number of things.
The whole article is citing unnamed sources.
And they hide behind that, Joan.
They do.
They hide behind that.
It's a filthy, dirty trick.
Essentially, they can make up anything they want.
And pin it on unnamed sources.
Yep, that's exactly right. That is what they do. And so it's going to be one of those things where they may get a surprise. They may get a surprise in the sense that for Trump supporters, the more they pile on, the more Trump's supporters are going to become even more supportive of the president, because there is clearly a piling on going on with the media, the Democrats, against Donald Trump. 5:53, Nashville's Morning News on WTN, and Joan Jones has the news coming up. Joan.
Yeah, there's been a passenger plane crash in Russia. We'll have the details on that. Also, the latest on Kilmar Abrego Garcia. What a mess this has become. We've got those stories coming up here at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.554 Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here for the HVAC company that I've been using for over a decade. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know, the thing is, I've always loved their mission to provide great service and save you money. Like this month, save big time on Busy Bee's smart Wi-Fi water shutoff valve. Only $12.49 this month. Additionally, you buy a whole new HVAC system, you get a free air duct fogging and UV light treatment at home treatment. Plumbing problems? Well, Busy Bee has the answers there as well. $500 off a Halo 5 whole home filtration system, or $1,000 off whole home water and drain line replacements. The savings go on and on. Check them out today. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. By the way, if you need some financing, how about 0% for 18 months with approved credit and payments as low as $100 a month? Check them out online, busybeehvac.com, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com. 5:58. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It looks like, just real quick, Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be testifying in front of Republicans. The headline is, even though they admit that they don't trust her, they're going to speak with her. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaing Ghislaine Maxwell to appear for a deposition, even as some Republican lawmakers acknowledge they may not be able to trust her testimony. Do you know who they quote?
Who do they quote?
Tim Burchett, who said she is a liar and she's a dirtbag.
And I think he said just as much yesterday here, right?
He did. He did. He said quite a bit yesterday.
Todd Blanche, however, the acting
deputy DA.
Deputy. He's going to have the first crack at her today.
Oh, is today the day he goes out to...
I believe it is. I'm going to make sure that I'm right on that, but I believe it's today that he'll have the first crack at her, and then it'll be the congressional members.
Okay, very good. We'll have to see if he's able to... He's not. I'm stuck on the Todd Blanche. He's not the deputy DA. What is he? The Deputy Attorney General. Deputy Attorney General, not the DA. Yeah, he's not a district attorney, Deputy Attorney General. But Deputy DA sounds a lot better, actually, doesn't it? But Deputy Attorney General is Todd Blanche.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if she gives him anything. You know, she's trying to get out of jail. That's what she's trying to do.
So she'll say anything that they want to hear.
She will say anything. So.
And she's a liar. So.
And she's a dirtbag, according to Tim Burchett. So there you go.
Dadgummit.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, got a lot more straight ahead. It is Nashville's Morning News on WTN.
Good morning, 6 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. DNI Tulsi Gabbard doubling down on those allegations that the Obama administration cooked up the Russian collusion story and pushed it out through the media in a concerted effort to stop Donald Trump's presidency. After that press conference yesterday, Gabbard told Jesse Waters Primetime that there were deep state obstacles to releasing the information about the Trump-Russia collusion investigation, and that some people within the intelligence community didn't want it to see the light of day. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt went after the press for their role in the scandal as well.
Many of the people who perpetuated this hoax, Clapper, Andy McCabe, James Comey, and many others, have been hired by major networks in this room to go on television and continue to spew these lies, knowing that they are lies.
Yeah, Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice have announced the creation of a strike force team, and more evidence is said to be forthcoming. There has been a passenger plane crash in Russia, and the Russian news agency Interfax says the plane crashed in a far eastern region. WSMV4's Holly Thompson.
The plane dropped off radar before reaching its destination. Now, it was headed to a town that borders China. The plane was operated by a Siberia-based airline. We know everyone on board, unfortunately, was killed in that crash.
And 5 children were among those passengers. Just after one judge ordered Kilmar Abrego Garcia to be released from federal custody yesterday, another judge paused that order for 30 days. Now, this pause, which both parties had asked for, allows the government the chance to appeal. It also allows Abrego Garcia's team the chance to seek further relief. So for now, he is staying put right here in a Tennessee jail. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Stock futures were little changed going into a day that'll see Donald Trump visiting the Federal Reserve. That's a first for an American president as he continues his pressure campaign against Fed Chair Jerome Powell. On Wednesday, though, the Dow Jones rose 508 points to close above 45,000 for the first time since December. The S&P surged 0.75%, the Nasdaq Composite 0.6, both of those indexes scoring all-time one-day highs. Sales of existing homes fell 2.7% last month compared to May, but were flat year over year. The National Association of Realtors says the median price hit a record high last month of over $435,000. In the banking industry, things appear to be looking up. Reuters reports that Goldman Sachs has decided to skip a second round of performance-based job cuts it had been planning. Goldman has 46,000 people on its payroll. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures mixed. We've got Dow futures down 179. NASDAQ futures are plus 60 and the S&P futures gaining 2. That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Oh, the delays are starting to pick up now on 24 on the westbound lanes. About Laverne is where it begins to stack up now. Things are also looking just a little bit slow heading east on 40 at the airport. And then you've got delays as well in the merge at 24 and 65 heading in from the north. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.607 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and good morning to you. There is a lot going on, and I got to tell you that one of the people that I despise the most, because, you know, we cover this stuff every single day, and one person that I despise the most is Letitia James. Now, Letitia James, of course, she is the Attorney General for New York. And she has a very peculiar way of speaking. And I'm going to play some audio for you. And the reason that I'm going to play it for you is because she is doing something that the Democrats right now are accusing Republicans of doing, which is trying to distract this whole, President Obama and how he set up Donald Trump. The Democrats are trying to say, well, Republicans and Donald Trump, you're trying to distract from the Epstein case, right? So everybody they say is trying to distract from everything else. I want to play some audio from Letitia James. Now, you know the situation with the Border Patrol agent off duty that was shot by not one, but two illegal aliens were involved in the shooting of this Border Patrol agent, shot him in the face. And so the Border Patrol agent was able to return fire, and that's good. He remains in the hospital, though. The Border Patrol agent remains in the hospital. These guys, caught at the southern border, released into our country, committed a bunch of crimes. I'm just giving you the backstory. Committed some crimes, arrested. ICE tried to pick him up, and the state of New York, the fine state of New York, would not cooperate. It's what Tom Homan always says, right? Borders are Tom Homan. Tom Homan always complains about how the state of New York and these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, where they refuse to cooperate with ICE when they're trying to pick up these bad guys. So then they let them out, and the sanctuary cities and states, they let them out, not waiting for ICE, not allowing ICE to pick up these guys in the jail, and out they go into the community. Ultimately ending up in this case, shooting an off-duty Border Patrol agent in the face during what they call a botched robbery. So Letitia James, Attorney General of New York, and I need some audio. She's actually on with Breonna Keeler. Now, if you know who she is on CNN. And shockingly, Breonna Keeler actually tried to hold Letitia James accountable. And so I'm going to play some of this audio for you. And I think it's fascinating because she keeps going back. Letitia James keeps going back to how the Trump administration is going after the nannies and, the farm workers and all of that, desperately trying to not acknowledge the failures of her state in cooperating with ICE. And I'm just going to play this for you because Breonna Keeler, believe it or not, did try to hold Letitia James accountable. Listen.
Both of them had these removal orders, these final removal orders.
Let me also say that it is now time for Congress to enact comprehensive immigration reform. Individuals, obviously, who have criminal convictions, obviously, it is the policy of the great state of New York to cooperate with ICE. However, individuals who serve you each and every day, who come to this country seeking a better opportunity.
See what she did? Now, number one, Tom Homan would actually disagree with Letitia James on that. He'll probably tell you, no, they don't cooperate. They simply do not cooperate. As a matter of fact, how many times have we heard, just more broadly speaking, how many times have we heard where you've got these illegal alien gang members and they are there for some sort of a hearing or whatever it is, and they try to shuttle them out the back door. That is exactly what happens in these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states.
Individuals fleeing violence, individuals who want the same thing that you and I want, and that is to care for their families.
It's such a weird, bizarre way of speaking. So she tries to deflect and claims that her state is cooperating with ICE. They don't. These guys get arrested. ICE wants to pick them up at the jail. The state, New York, led by Letitia James, simply lets them go. And so she continues to talk about and try to deflect against the status that they are clearly a sanctuary city, sanctuary state, and all of these innocent people that she keeps talking about. And then she goes into wait for it, the masked ICE agents, disappearing people in the middle of the night. Again, doesn't want to talk about the bad guys who shot that Border Patrol agent in the face.
And for those individuals who unfortunately are being kidnapped in the middle of the night by masked agents with no insignia, no identification, and taken away from their families. Again, we have no problem with the worst of the worst, but unfortunately, they're focusing on too many innocent individuals.
Do you know what I wonder? I wonder if somebody hears what the left is saying about how these ICE agents are kidnapping or disappearing these, innocent illegal aliens. I wonder if you are a parent of a child that has been kidnapped. Does that piss you off a little bit? Does that anger you? That they're using this term, kidnapped when they're talking about illegal aliens and oftentimes illegal alien bad guys who have committed violent crimes. And they continue to use this term, kidnapped, when I got news for you, Letitia James. These are not kids. These are adults who are in our country illegally and have oftentimes committed heinous crimes, sometimes to kids, as a matter of fact. So if you were the parent of a kid that had been kidnapped, do you take offense to that? I absolutely would.
Individuals who work in our farms, in our small businesses, who go to church, who go to school.
I understand what you're saying, because...
So you can tell Brianna Keeler is like, okay, you're repeating yourself now, Tish. But what I'm trying to get to is, she is saying that what I'm trying to get to is that you're not addressing the problem that I'm asking. Is this an opportunity? Is this a situation where you can look at where you, as a state, and you're the Attorney General, went wrong and fix those problems instead of just punting, oh, Congress, you know, this has been a problem with Congress for years. I've got the response from Letitia James coming up. It is Letitia James versus, believe it or not, Brianna Keeler and CNN, as she tries to obfuscate, dodge, and deflect the failures of sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. It is all straight ahead on Nashville's Morning News. It is 6:15, time to check the roads on WTN.
For the most part, things are looking good this morning. No problems coming in on 65 or 24. No unusual delays on 40. 840 running accident-free. I'm Christy O'Brien.
Thank you very much. As far as the weather today, it is going to be hot again, sunny. Possible thunderstorms as well, high near 97. Feels like temperature is going to be 104 and up. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on WTN. So you've got Brianna Keeler, CNN, trying to get Letitia James to at least admit that in the sanctuary state of New York, there is something wrong because they're not cooperating with ICE. And just last week, a Border Patrol agent got shot in the face by a couple of guys with criminal records that apparently the state of New York simply let go.
Individuals who work in our farms, in our small businesses, who go to church, who go to school.
I understand what you're saying, because voters make a distinction, a lot of them, and the polls show it, between undocumented immigrants without criminal records, people you're talking about, and those who have them. Right, especially in these extreme cases, like we look at in this case in New York City.
Yeah, I mean, she keeps going on. She does about these innocent individuals. Again, notice she won't simply acknowledge these bad guys. And so Brianna Keeler, she keeps trying to get her on the record to comment about these two bad guys, and she simply won't. Here's more.
In the case of cities taking a step and states taking a step, is this an example where there could be that coordination instead of waiting decades for Congress to act?
At the outset, I indicated to you that, in fact, New York State and other Democratic states cooperate with ICE when it comes to criminal convictions. But when it comes to innocent individuals who serve as your nanny, who clean your home, individuals who are our neighbors, individuals who unfortunately are just trying to make ends meet.
Both of these individuals had multiple arrests after deportation orders. Why are those not opportunities?
And that is why in the state of New York, when it comes to individuals, as you indicated, individuals with criminal convictions, then we cooperate with ICE.
It is so maddening. Isn't it? Isn't it just so maddening? Now, Keeler is basically trying to find some sort of a scenario where Letitia James will admit that they screwed up and they as a party screwed up, because the backdrop of this whole thing, of course, is that it was Biden's administration that allowed all of these people in. It is the sanctuary city status of New York and the state of New York where they just welcome all of these people in with open arms. And the people of New York, and I can hear you folks right now on this side of the radio saying, well, they get what they vote for. You're absolutely right. They do. And it is hard to feel sorry for the people of New York. I feel really bad for the Border Patrol agent who got shot in the face by a guy who the Biden administration simply welcomed in and allowed to stay in this country illegally.
But it's important that we make a distinction between those individuals with criminal convictions and those individuals, again, who are just trying to make.
She will not deviate from the talking point. It is maddening.
Secreted and kidnapped at night are individuals
kidnapped the night again.
who, again, are facing civil deportation and not criminal enforcement. It's important that we make a distinction.
She keeps talking about the distinction between the really, really bad guys or the bad guys and, those people that are simply just here illegally.
Students, teachers.
She goes on. She won't stop.
We all want the same thing, and that is to protect individuals from harm.
No, you don't. No, you don't. If you wanted to protect people from harm, you would get these people out of our country.
Kidnapping innocent individuals
There she goes again.
that both you and I know.
I mean, somewhere along the line, the talking points went out for the Democrats where they said, use the term kidnapping. Talk about ICE and how they're kidnapping people in the middle of the night. I'm pretty sure that the American people understand exactly what is going on. And the bottom line is it's going to come back again to bite them in the butt. I've got an amazing declaration by Vice President J.D. Vance. Wait till you hear what he has to say. By the way, the super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Watch us, if you would, anywhere. You can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, X, 997WTN.com. You can listen to us anywhere as well. 997WTN.com and all of the streaming apps as well.
Can I get you some throat coat?
You know what? I've got some throat coat.
Okay.
I keep, you know what? Joan.
I do.
You know what happens? I get really excited about stuff and I start speaking like excitedly, and that's when my voice goes. If it wasn't for my voice cutting out on me, I'd probably do a lot more yelling in Morning Drive, which nobody actually wants to hear.
Right.
So it's actually, to be perfectly honest, it's actually a good safeguard against me yelling in Morning Drive. Speaking of which, Joan, did you hear what happened yesterday?
At what point? There's a lot that happened yesterday.
After the show, one of the three of us got in trouble for not taking his breaks on time again.
Oh, you did? Well, you know what? Yeah.
I know. You know what?
Yeah.
I tried to throw Sam under the bus, but they wouldn't buy it. They wouldn't buy it. So know what? So
you're the guy sailing the ship,
the Titanic. All right. Need some audio, if I could. There you go. 621 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. All right, Joan, what's coming up in the news?
Ghislaine Maxwell gets a visit from the DOJ today and a job fair in Nashville. We've got the details on it. Those stories coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.622 Nashville's Morning News. Listen, business owners, if your concrete floors need a little love, my friends at Specialty Coatings, they can help you. They specialize in concrete floor coatings and polished concrete. They've been doing it for 30 years. Now, you've probably walked on some of those incredible concrete floor coatings in all the major sports stadiums. Well, that's Specialty Coatings, man. The sports stadiums, the arenas, the convention centers, that is the handiwork of Specialty Coatings. Don't forget what I've been telling you, that if somebody walks into your business and your floors are an absolute train wreck, people are going to look at that and they're going to question if they really want to do business with you. Specialty Coatings can help you make an incredible first impression. Now, they've installed over 1 million square feet of coatings for businesses across Tennessee in just the last year. Those buildings include manufacturing, warehouses, airplane hangars, retail, and a lot more. Specialty Coatings, they can help you today. Find them online. It is specialtycoat.com, specialtycoat.com, 615-591-9491, sales at specialtycoat.com. Dan Mandis here from Mark Spain Real Estate. Listen, if you've been thinking about selling your home right now is the time with Mark Spain Real Estate. It is their guaranteed offer, and you can sell your home quickly and for maximum value. You can make the most of your summer by selling your home with that guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. In doing so, you skip all the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly without the stress of showings, open houses, or costly repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed all-cash offer allows you to sell your home in as little as 21 days and move when you are ready. They've got over 13,000 five-star reviews. You can trust the top real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home stress-free. And yes, for the most money, Mark Spain Real Estate. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out at 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. You can find them online anytime. MarkSpain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's MarkSpain.com and start packing. .627, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Real quick, Joan Jones.
Yes.
You had a story about everyone's favorite Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Yeah.
So he was trying to convince, his lawyers were trying to convince a judge to allow him to stay in prison for 30 days so that he would not be deported by ICE. That was yesterday's news, I guess. So now, what is going on? Another judge has stepped in?
Yeah, so there's two different judges, right? So there's one here in Tennessee and there's one in Maryland. The one in Tennessee, now this seemed like a very planned series of events.
Coordinated.
Yep, it sure does. The one here in Tennessee said, no, you must release him and allow him to be free because he's not a flight risk while he is awaiting his trial. The one in Maryland said, and while he's free, ICE is not allowed to take custody of him.
Excuse me?
Yes. So then another magistrate stepped in right after that and said he's staying in jail because both sides appealed one of the decisions. So another magistrate stepped in yesterday and said he's staying in jail. Both sides get your act together and come back to this court.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's just bouncing back and forth. And he's not going on trial until, and forgive me if I don't have it exactly right, but I don't think he's going on trial until like December. So there's a lot of time for this guy to be cooling his heels. Mm-hmm. And it just, somebody's got to figure out where he's going to do it and when. ICE desperately wants him to be released, and then they deport him to some country that we don't know how to pronounce the name.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's like, bye-bye. So, well, I think both sides are using the story of Kilmar Abrego Garcia to try to prove their own individual points.
Oh, yeah.
So the left is saying, oh, they're deporting this Maryland man and his father. And, of course, the right is like, dude's a gang member. He is an alleged human trafficker, and he's a wife beater. And so if there's anybody that should be deported, it is Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So anyway, we'll keep folks updated on that. All right, coming up next, J.D. Vance says something incredible about illegal immigration and immigration in this country. It is all straight ahead on Nashville's Morning News on WTN.
Good morning. Yes, 6:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The second highest ranking official at the Justice Department is headed to Florida for what could be a very consequential meeting today.
Jeffrey Epstein's former associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, is expected to sit down with the Justice Department to discuss potential accomplices in Epstein's international sex ring. Maxwell is set to meet with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche in Tallahassee, Florida, where she's serving a 20-year sentence for child trafficking. Maxwell is also now being subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee to testify as part of an investigation into how Epstein evaded accountability for decades.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. Locally, it's going to look a little different at Clarksville's Swan Lake Golf Course today after a cement mixer ran off the road into a ditch and then into a large tree that managed to fall on top of the truck and across the road. Dunbar Cave Road reopened to traffic about 1 o'clock this morning after the cleanup. By the way, there was no cement in that truck, fortunately. No injuries were reported. In Smith County, a boat or a pop-up camper came loose from a car that was traveling and slammed headlong into the car right behind it yesterday afternoon. That happened on Lebanon Highway. Police say the driver of the car that was struck only suffered minor injuries. The city of Nashville holding a citywide job fair today starts at 10 o'clock at the Nashville Farmers Market on Rosa Parks Boulevard. Dozens of jobs are said to be needed to be filled. Metro Veteran Services will also be there to answer questions for any veterans who have recently left the service and are seeking employment. That is the latest news. Stick around for traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here at 6:32. Listen, I want to tell you about my friends at Clayton Homes. I went out to their Dixon location and I took some tours of these homes. These are really cool. And I got to tell you, these manufactured homes have come a long way over the years. My dad actually used to live in a manufactured home many years ago. And so I can tell you firsthand experience that they have indeed come a long way. Now, for Clayton Homes, they are in the middle of a big home sales event that is going on right now. You can save up to $5,000 instantly on your home purchase at Clayton Homes. It is their sign and save sales event. You can also save up to $2,500 on a single section home or $5,000 on that multi-section home. Now, Clayton Homes, they are changing the way homes are built. Now, these are affordable homes, and they do cost less to live in, just in time for the really, really hot weather, which is going on right now. You can get a home equipped with Energy Smart features for year-round comfort and, yes, a lifetime of savings as well. Clayton Homes feature luxury, quality, and the style you deserve. Now, don't forget that great deal going on right now, their Sign and Save sales event. It's a great deal. Visit local Clayton Homes near you or browse their limited-time deals at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. That is manufacturedhomeoffers.com. And again, don't forget the Sign and Save sales event going on right now. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brand retailers through August 31st. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing lender restrictions apply. .34 Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Joan.
Yes.
Did you know that I was effectively kidnapped as a kid?
You were?
Yeah. Did you know that?
No.
All right. I'll talk a little bit about that. Somebody on the text line is talking about the constant use, the constant use of the word kidnapped.
Yeah.
And how that would actually make parents whose kids have been kidnapped, how that would make them feel. And so we actually had somebody on the super text line who said that their son had been kidnapped. And it made me realize, it triggered a memory in me that I actually was, believe it or not, kidnapped. And
this is an interesting story.
Well, I'll tell you about it coming up next.
Okay.
On Super Talk 99.7. USS, United Structural Systems. Now, I've been telling you for years about United Structural Systems. They are experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, and foundation repair. Now, this is a great company. They've helped me several times with my home, and that is why I proudly endorse USS. Now, I am one of 30,000 satisfied customers, and listen to this recent review on Google. Guy says that USS was highly professional. The crew was phenomenal from start to finish. They treated his home as if they were working on their own. And he does give United Structural Systems 5 stars all the way. Now, USS, they're not going to charge you for any unnecessary repairs. They're not going to pay you a dime until the work is done and you are a satisfied customer. And they can help you with basement and crawl space waterproofing, basement wall stabilization, foundation repair as well. We guarantee our best. Call USS. Tell him Dan told you to reach out at 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855, USSTN.com.
There is a crash reported on 24 on the eastbound side. This is in Smyrna, just before Sam Ridley Parkway, exit 66. Looks pretty slow, too, as you're making your way on 24 on the westbound side this morning, starting in now the Smyrna area. If you're traveling in from the north side, you've got some delays stacking up now on 24 and 65 as they approach that merge area. Things are looking pretty good on 40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into a Thursday. Hope you're doing well. So just so you folks know that I really did visit the Clayton Homes in Dixon 1011 on the Super Text line. Says, I thought I saw you there. I did. I went into all of the homes there in at the Clayton Homes in Dixon.
They're pretty cool.
The manufactured homes?
Yeah.
Okay, so
they
here's
look
the
so
deal.
nice now.
They are. Do you know, I remember, and I don't want to go into a whole thing, but I remember my dad suffered my dad had gotten divorced,
Mm-hmm.
and then his apartment burned down, and he had absolutely nothing. This was back in the 70s. And he ultimately had to move into what you would call back then a mobile home. And I mean, I got to tell you, this thing left a lot to be desired. And so I went to go see, and I remember this like it was yesterday. And he lived in it for several years because he had just fallen on really, really hard times. And so with my dad, we would go and we would visit him all the time in this mobile home park. Now, didn't really think much of it at the time because when you're so young, you just want to go see your dad.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later on in life that I realized what was going on with my dad and so forth. But flash forward to, I mean, these days and these manufactured homes, I mean, I went home and I told Amy, these are really nice. I actually took a bunch of pictures and I sent them to Amy and she agreed that they were really nice. And so they have truly, and I'm not doing a commercial for Clayton Homes, but they truly have come a long way over the years with these manufactured homes. All right, real quick. So Letitia James.
Yes.
Keeps talking about how, people are, being illegal aliens are being kidnapped by ICE and so forth. And so I went on this whole thing about the ICE agents and how, if somebody is utilizing the word kidnapped, how does that make you feel if you are the parent of a child that has been kidnapped? Right. I've interviewed those parents, and I got to tell you, this was in Denver, and it was one of the most heartbreaking interviews I have ever done. I mean, I get misty-eyed just thinking about it. It's just so sad. And so when I heard Letitia James talking about that, and then I did my little thing, somebody texted in on the super text line, and man, they are coming in quick. And so now I've unfortunately, Joan, lost the guy that had said that his son, here it is, 1393. He says, my son was taken in our car when he was 3, was dropped off alone, and After about 3 miles of driving, the kid that did it ended up in a high-speed chase with police. Can't imagine parents who never got their kids back and what they think about this wording of kidnapping. So when I was a kid, I had to be about, I think, maybe 8 or 9, maybe. And I've told this story once before in back years ago when I was on in Midday. So if you've heard it before, I apologize. But I think I've only told it once. So I was at baseball practice, and for whatever reason, my mom, man, bless her heart, she forgot to pick me up.
Oh, gosh.
It started raining, and the entire park, it was raining. For people that say it doesn't rain in Southern California, let me tell you something, it does. I am 8 years old, and I am walking around this park all alone.
This is making my heart break.
Oh, you should have been me at the age of 8.
I bet.
So, of course, guy finds me. And this was a bad guy. And he found me. He befriended me. I'm putting that in air quotes. He befriended me. And he got me into the bathroom.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he tried some things into the scoreboard. So I was in, you know where they keep score in Little League games? And they keep score little. All right. I was in there, and how do I say this? He exposed himself to me.
Oh, my gosh.
I ran, and I was pretty fast for a little 8-year-old. I ran, but of course, the numbnuts that I was at 8, I ran into a bathroom.
Oh, gosh.
And he, of course, followed me in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Luckily, God was watching out for me, and he ultimately, he had me in there for a little bit, and he let me go. Nothing happened.
Let me ask you this. Did he ever touch you?
No.
Oh.
That's the crazy part. Except for holding me against the wall. But he never did anything like that. And so I was able to, he let me go, and I ran. And as I'm running, I am hysterical, as you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
And so my mom calls my baseball coach, and my baseball coach said, well, yeah, the game was rained out. You didn't pick up your son.
Oh, my gosh.
So my coach found me as I'm running towards the street, and I jumped into the car, and he brought me home.
Did you tell him what had happened?
I did. I told him what happened, and I told, obviously, my mom what happened as well. And
man, why didn't your coach go back there and punch the guy or call police?
He ran, the dude, I'm assuming ran the other way. I don't know. I mean, I think he probably thought better.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a horrible, horrible thing. And I don't like to think about it often. And every once in a while, I think I've kind of blocked it out.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, though, something triggers it. And for whatever reason, during that interview, and when I had talked about, parents who have had the horror of being their kids being kidnapped, and the left using this vernacular, using this word, it's just like when they call Donald Trump Hitler.
Yes.
And they're sanitizing. They're sanitizing the evils of Adolf Hitler. It's the same thing, where they don't care. They don't care how they bastardize the human language, the English language. They're going to do it if it suits their political purposes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the insensitivity. It doesn't matter the broader context. Nothing. As long as they can politicize words and try to use it to their advantage, they'll do it. Like this notion of ICE kidnapping kidnapping people on the streets. Which, again, by the way, these are adults who are either A, here illegally, or 2, here illegally, and they've committed heinous crimes.
Yeah. The insanity. And the newest argument is, that I've heard anyway, is that if their only crime is crossing the border, that's not a felony crime.
Mm-hmm.
And so they shouldn't be picked up for that. That's not really a crime if it's not a felony.
Well, but it's still a crime.
It's still a crime.
It is still a crime. And I do agree, by the way, I would much rather them focus on the worst of the worst.
Absolutely.
I would like that. But at the same time, if they're there and you can pick them up and they're here illegally, well, then do it.
Yep.
I'm just, that's how I feel. 6:45. Now I'm finally going to get to this audio coming up of what J.D. Vance has to say about the border and about deportations and illegal immigration. It is going to surprise you, as a matter of fact. Details straight ahead. Time to check the roads on WTN. .46, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Generally, today it is going to be sunny, some clouds, really hot, high near 97. We've got a chance of showers as well. And the feels like temperature going to be somewhere between 104 and 110. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Need Some Audio. J.D. Vance. And he was being interviewed somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. But he did talk about what is going on with illegal immigration, the deportations, and the border. Listen to this.
We are criticized, interestingly, by some folks on the right who want the pace of deportations to be higher. And I certainly understand that, frankly, and share that frustration. The counter argument is the courts are trying to stop us at every step of the way. And until about a month ago, we didn't have the resources for ICE to actually get this massive invasion that Joe Biden led into our country. We didn't have the resources necessary to actually process a lot of those people. That has changed because of the big, beautiful bill. We've also gotten some court case wins, so I expect that the pace of deportations will increase a little bit. But importantly, when people criticize us and they say, sometimes I'll hear this criticism, well, the pace of deportations from the Trump administration is actually lower than it was in the Biden administration. And that's actually a completely fake statistic. It's based on the fact that if you come into the country illegally and then the Biden administration processes you and sends you out, that counts as a deportation. It counts as an illegal immigration, and then it counts as deportation. So you have to look at the net number, right? If you do +1, -1, I'm not a math expert, but I'm pretty sure that's 0. The net number is what really matters.
Yes.
And where the Trump administration, where we've been most wildly successful, is that we have, I think in 2025, we will have the first net negative immigration number in about 50 or 60 years in the United States. And so there has been a major shift in immigration policy.
Yeah, and if you think about it, net negative. So when you think about it, with all of these judges doing those really, really stupid judge things like, trying to prevent Donald Trump from deporting these folks and just all of the legal maneuvering that the left has done, to see that we could be a net negative on immigration, that is huge. I mean, I think that is quite an accomplishment. And so, and I know that people are tired of hearing about Epstein. I am right there with you. Because while I do understand, and there's news on Epstein this morning, which we've been, mentioning from time to time, there's so many other really important and really intriguing things to talk about, like the success in the economy, like the success with illegal immigration, like the success that we have on tariffs. Donald Trump just came up and, Scott Bessent and so forth, they came down with a great deal with Japan that was announced yesterday. So I understand part of what's going on is that you do have the left that they are trying to take down Donald Trump utilizing the Epstein storyline because they want to distract from a lot of the successes that Donald Trump has had. That's what they're trying to do. I don't believe that it's going to work. We actually have some audio that I played earlier where it does show that, and they're talking about this, believe it or not, on CNN, where they say that the rank and file Republicans, the people that voted for Donald Trump, Epstein doesn't matter. And I think here's the other part of this. And Joan and I were talking about this earlier. I want you to take a look at, for example, the Wall Street Journal, right? The Wall Street Journal article where they're talking about how Trump supposedly drew this picture, all this stuff, which, I mean, anybody will tell you that story is absolute BS because they don't even know where the book is where the drawing supposedly was. That's number one. Number two, Joan was saying this morning in the New York Times, Joan, if you're there, there's a couple of stories out there today where they say that some insiders or some anonymous sources within the Trump administration are saying that Trump was told back in May that his name was in the Epstein files, and this is some, big news story. Well, number one, these are anonymous sources. That's number one. And number two, we know that his name is in the files. We know that. So the more that these bogus things come up, yesterday, Joan and I, we spoke about this, where we had, Donald Trump and Epstein. You got video and you got pictures of the two of them together. And the CNN reported this as never seen before. Never seen before, never published, actually, is what they said. Never before published. Well, all of this was old news. And they're trying to recycle all of this to try to make some of these stories sound new and fresh and urgent. And they're not. And so the more that they overplay, I think that the more that these people overplay their hand, the less credibility this whole Epstein storyline is going to have. So I think keep it up. Go ahead and keep it up. Get over your skis on Epstein, Democrats, because the more that you do, the more you're going to damage your own credibility, like you have any anyway. Joan Jones, what's coming up in the news at 7?
Well, we'll detail Brian Kohberger's sentencing from yesterday and what his victims' families had to say. It was pretty emotional. Also, apparently, Kristi Noem, well, she hurt some feelings when she was talking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We'll tell you what his lawyers are asking for now. We've got that coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, 6:53 on Nashville's Morning News. And let me tell you something, Vision for Life. I will be forever grateful to Dr. Jeffrey Horn and Vision for Life for fixing my vision. I went through vision correction surgery, been months ago now, and I am free from the glasses that I wore for years. And I'd been thinking about it for a long time, but to be honest with you, I was scared. I was nervous. I had a lot of questions. Dr. Horn, in that initial consultation, he spent 35 to 40 minutes with me just answering all my questions. Now, they've been doing this for 20 years. This year, Vision for Life celebrating 20 years of 2020. Since 2005, Dr. Jeff Horn has provided thousands of patients 20/20 or better vision. Now, his expertise and dedication have made him a leader in cataract, LASIK, and other vision correction surgeries. Dr. Horn's commitment to providing the best possible patient experience, in addition to the most advanced technologies in vision correction, have made Vision for Life one of the premier vision correction centers in the world. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out if you're thinking about vision correction. I highly recommend these folks at 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020. Find them online anytime, visionforlife.com. Dan Mandis here, 6:55, and I want to tell you about my friends at Window Nation. Now, this is my window company. They've put 4 windows in my home. Now, if you've been thinking about new windows for your home, you've got to check out Window Nation. Now, y'all know that it is really hot. I don't have to tell you this. Make sure that cool air is staying in and the hot air is staying out with Window Nation. Now, they are some of the best energy-saving windows out there with Window Nation. and they install them in a day or less. Now, their crews all have years of experience, and if you want to increase the value of your home, call Window Nation. They've got a great deal going on right now. Save 50% off all window styles, and you can save big time with 0% interest for 5 years. That's no interest until 2030. Now, this sale is going to end soon, so call them today at 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION for Window Nation. And remember, these are some of the best energy-saving windows on the market today, and you can get them for a great deal at Window Nation. Don't forget that deal. Save 50% off all window styles. You can save big time. 0% interest for 5 years. No interest until 2030. 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. .657, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. I meant to let folks know, Joan, that today is the day that Chris and we will be taping our next installment of Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris. And check out the previous two on YouTube and all the other formats. So I think what we did last week, Joan, was incredibly successful, which was ask people to send in their favorite memes of the week. And so if you want to do that, feel free, because the Super Text line is open. I am on it. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. You know what Monica says about the naked woman drawing that Donald Trump is accused of drawing?
Yeah, what's that?
Maybe Obama drew the drawing.
Oh.
Maybe. You never know.
But we don't even know if there really is a drawing, though, right?
No, we don't. It's just, the whole thing is just dumb.
Just like we don't know if there's actually a noose or not.
Right.
Have we found out anything about the noose? Anything at all?
No, but I have a theory, an allegation.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, we have a mayor that was perfectly fine doxing ICE and DHS agents as they came to do their jobs here. So what's the best way to keep a stadium on track? That's a multi-billion-dollar deal between the city and the Titans organization to make sure construction's not delayed by making sure your workers are all available.
That's right. It's what people say. Oh, listen to this real quick. I'm on CNN. Starbucks CEO made 6,666 times more than the typical Starbucks worker.
It has to be 666.
Good, Joan. But,
thank you.
But beyond that, why is this a talking point for people on the left?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
That Starbucks CEO has probably done incredible things in his career. And so why should he not make 6,666 times more than the average Starbucks employee? I mean, the CEO to this company, whose name I don't know, but I'm sure whoever that person is making a heck of a lot more than me and you and Sam. And you know what? Me personally, I don't have a problem with that. You know why? Because he or she has the experience to try to help this company. And I hope that she can. It is 7 o'clock. I'm totally kidding. You know what? I got there and I didn't know how to finish that sentence without getting in trouble. It is 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 7 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The world may never know why Brian Kohberger murdered 4 Idaho college students. He's in prison now, but he didn't have anything to say during his sentencing yesterday.
One by one, family members addressing the court.
Maddie was my only child that I ever had. She's the only great thing I ever really did.
Others lashing out at Kohberger.
You're going to go to hell.
If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your ass. Thank you.
Kohberger was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole and opted not to address the court.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert there reporting. An ambush on a couple of Ohio police officers who were eating their lunch. This happened in Lorain, Ohio yesterday. The officers in their separate cruisers when they were attacked by a man with a high-powered rifle. Both of them and an officer that responded to a call for help were injured. 2 of them are still in serious condition. The suspect was shot and killed. Unfortunately, this is a story that's been repeated recently.
Police, not the only ones at risk. Firefighters were ambushed last month, responding to a brush fire in Idaho. Police say the suspect intentionally set the fire and shot at them with a sniper rifle. 2 were killed, a 3rd was injured. Police say the suspect, reportedly frustrated after unsuccessfully trying to become a firefighter himself, died by suicide.
That's ABC's Andrea Fujii. Clarksville is getting 2 new hospitals. The Tennessee Health Facilities Commission approving applications from St. Thomas and TriStar during a hearing yesterday. But it came with pushback from the only hospital currently operating there, Tenova, which said it can handle the patients.
It makes absolutely no sense to take what is a highly utilized, vital resource for the community that is very popular and then put a new hospital and a new ED right next door to it. That is not to help geographic dispersion of services. It does not help any type of health planning.
These new hospitals won't be up and running for at least 3 years. And Kilmar Abrego Garcia's lawyers have asked a federal judge in Tennessee to order the Trump administration to stop making comments about his case. This comes after a press conference here in Nashville. WSMV4's Alexandria Adams.
Last Friday, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem calling him, quote, a monster during the news conference that happened here in Nashville. She also says that he should have never been released.
Now, his lawyers say that comments like that could taint the jury pool. Waiting on a response now from the judge. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Well, Donald Trump will be visiting the Fed today. We'll have an eye on that. I'm not really sure what time it'll happen, but at the moment, the Dow futures are down 171, NASDAQ futures plus 78 points, and the S&P futures, they're gaining 7. That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looks just like normal volume delays here if you're traveling in on 24 this morning. The delays start right around the TriStar Stonecrest Medical Center exit there in Laverne and all the way up into the city. Now, you do have delays as well heading in from the north. Looks really slow now on 24 as you're heading eastbound. And then in that merge area, it's really slow there as well this morning. And I'm seeing some big delays now on 40, making your way into the Nashville area this morning, trying to see where this begins. Looks like around the Central Pike area is where the delays start to slow things down. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.707 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and good morning to you. There is a lot going on. I want to get right to it. There is a couple of our Tennessee universities, need some audio. A couple of our Tennessee universities have been caught trying to skirt around DEI. Now, remember what happened with Belmont University, where you have Andy Ogles, Congressman Andy Ogles, is calling for an investigation into Belmont University, Christian University here in Nashville, because he said that they were trying to basically continue on with DEI policies and just changing the name. And the government has been doing this as well, where it's like Trump comes in and he says no more DEI. And then, of course, what they ultimately do is they just change the wording of the programs, but it's still the same old DEI crap. Well, that was based on some, and I played this a few days ago, so I don't want to redo the Belmont University topic, but that was based on some audio that was recorded, secretly recorded by somebody at Belmont University. They caught some of the folks there at Belmont basically saying, yeah, we're still doing DEI. We just had to change the name. Well, guess who else has been caught? Vanderbilt University and also UT, the University of Tennessee. Did Vanderbilt and UT, get caught admitting that they are still utilizing diversity, equity, and inclusion? And how rampant is this? This is from townhall.com. And this was a report from Town Hall, Fox News as well. Tennessee universities are subverting laws aimed at prohibiting diversity, equity, and inclusion practices on campus. That's right. Tennessee universities are subverting laws aimed at prohibiting diversity, equity, and inclusion practices on campuses. Remember, here in the state legislature, we passed laws the Governor Lee signed that banned these divisive DEI concepts, including a ban on race and gender-based preferences in public higher education and government hiring. It also bans DEI officers and funding, all of that stuff. It's supposed to be gone. Well, from Fox News and Town Hall, an undercover investigation revealed that staff members at the University of Tennessee and Vanderbilt University are rebranding their DEI programs to get around legislation prohibiting these initiatives, according to Fox News. Now, this is a woman named Janet Roberts over at Vanderbilt. She is, and I don't know what any of this means, but a Peabody Facilities Manager, Office of the Dean. Sounds pretty high up, if you will. And here she is talking about Marsha Blackburn.
And we have this one, I think she's a representative.
Good Lord, she's a senator. Marsha Blackburn is a senator, not a representative. That's first off.
And we have this one, gosh, I think she's a representative or something. I just heard that she could run for governor, and I'm going, oh, God, I know, she's ridiculous. Blackburn. Yes, I know. I heard that, and I went, it's a very weird place right there.
So she goes on to say that we are heavily supported by federal funding, so we're not advertising diversity and equity and inclusion lectures, but basically she goes on to talk about how they're hiding their DEI programs.
We're flying under the radar. I mean, honestly.
We're flying under the radar, she says. Did you hear that?
We're flying under the radar. I mean, honestly.
So also at Vanderbilt, a woman named Ivy Carmucci, I think I'm saying her name right, but I really don't know, an academic coach at the Center for Student Well-Being, again, at Vanderbilt University. She apparently agrees with this other woman, Janet Roberts, about what is going on at Vanderbilt University. She also says at Vanderbilt University, secretly recorded that this whole thing is really more of a cat and mouse game.
So that's why I think the naming has changed, but we're in the Center for Student Well-Being. Like I said, we have things that clue people and let people know that this is a safe space for everybody. Lower-income communities is like as close to that DEI where you could probably get. Previously, they were the Center for Social Justice. And
so you heard the audio's not great, but so the Center for Social Justice became the Center for Student Well-Being at Vanderbilt University, according to that secret recording. Guy obviously went to Vanderbilt and started talking to folks, and he recorded them basically admitting that, yeah, we're still doing the work of DEI. All we did is change the names of these various programs and departments.
They're doing DEI work.
Yeah.
All right. So that's, you don't get much more clear than that.
They're doing DEI work.
Yeah.
And so they're really, from what it sounds like, not making any changes to the goals or the curriculum or the policies of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They are deceptively naming or renaming these departments, and it does sound like everybody knows what's going on. We're still going to do what we do. We're just going to fly under the radar.
They're doing DEI work.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to know, State Senator Jack Johnson, I believe, if I remember correctly, that he was one of the sponsors of the bill here in Tennessee to do this, to ban any kind of DEI work on college campuses here in the state of Tennessee. Here's a little bit more audio.
When I say different, it just looks different now because language has had to change. Students Center for Belonging in Communities is kind of like the DEI.
So again, they say the language had to change, but and the names had to change, but the programs remain the same. By the way, Senator Marsha Blackburn, she has been on this for a while now with these accusations against Vanderbilt University, and Vandy has denied all of this. But this audio, I don't know about you, friends, this audio does feel pretty damning. And don't forget, this is not just about Vandy. It is also about UT, University of Tennessee. In this same story, they got caught as well. I'm going to tell you about that coming up. It is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. At 7:15, as far as your weather goes today, it's going to be hot, generally sunny today, despite a few afternoon clouds. We do have the possibility of a thunderstorm here and there, high near 97. That feels like temperature is going to be 104 and above, maybe all the way up to 110. And appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Going over some of this audio where you have UT and Vandy, in addition to Belmont, of course, from earlier monologues that I've done, that have been caught basically changing the name of the DEI programs that they had, but these programs have now been outlawed. And what they've done is they've changed the names, but they're still continuing on with these now outlawed DEI policies, according to Town Hall and Fox News. University of Tennessee, they got caught as well as Vanderbilt University. A guy named Will Eaton was caught in a recording obtained by Fox News, basically saying the same thing.
But what we've been having to do is just navigate with reframing things and choice of words and things. In terms of like programming stuff, we are moving forward with that.
So it sounds to me like what he's saying is we're just moving forward with what we were doing before. And the story points out, instead of calling the programs DEI, they're using monikers such as access and engagement and belonging and community. Because honestly, Joan, who can argue with belonging and community?
So don't you wonder, like all those serious wins that Robbie Starbuck got, are they doing the same things in companies? Is Tractor Supply just calling it belonging now?
Oh, I don't know. That's a great question.
I mean, is this how the entire scene is going, or did they really walk this back?
I will say that in Robbie's case, he caught them so dead to rights. Oh, that was so beautiful the way that he did that.
It was lovely.
And so I believe that he has people inside of these companies. And if they tried to go back to their ways of diversity, equity, and inclusion, I think Robbie would be on them like you've never seen before. So, no, I don't think those companies, I think those companies are terrified of Robbie Starbuck. And I think that those companies are not going back to their DEI ways. And I also think that they realize that this is not 2020. This is 2025.
Yep.
Now, these universities are getting federal funding. And these universities, the entire culture of universities, they all love this DEI stuff, and they will protect it to their dying day. And so I think that if the state legislature, Jack Johnson, Senate Majority Leader, I think if they launch an investigation into whether or not Vandy or UT or perhaps Belmont, I think if they launch an investigation as to, this whole cat and mouse game of, well, what we're going to do, we're going to continue on with these policies. We're just going to call it belonging in community. Was it Michelle Obama's book that was called Belonging? Was it Michelle Obama's book?
Ooh, good question.
You know how the Democrats, I was talking about this earlier, how the Democrats will hijack like words and names and they'll just make it their own?
Yep.
Belonging is another
becoming.
word. Belonging is another word
It's
that these
becoming.
Democrats, it's becoming.
Yes.
Belonging, becoming, whatever.
Be something.
Be something?
That's my name for it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Just be something.
Yep. By the way, this guy, going back to Will Eaton, this guy over there at UT, he explained, this is from the story, he explained that the school, quote, had to take our current programming and our future programming and make sure that it aligns so that we could do the work that we're trying to do while also catering to the Department of Education. He further suggested using language as a tool for protection to avoid scrutiny from lawmakers. He also spoke about how UT changed their language of the classes and the program to protect DEI.
And they wanted to make sure that access and engagement, which is DEI, could maintain itself, so they changed the language so that the state government couldn't put a magnifying glass on us. It's a chess game. So we had to take our current programming and our future programming and make sure that it aligns so that we can do the work that we're trying to do while also catering to the Department of Education, the federal. You can't argue with the terms access and engagement. So the biggest thing is using language as a tool for protection.
So there you go. Those are the accusations that colleges that are receiving federal funding, they're still doing DEI work. They've just changed the names. Vandy, by the way, you know how much Vandy gets in federal funding? Like $1 billion in research funding.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, listen, I'm not saying, and I said this during the whole debate over the cutting of the funding, I'm not saying that Vandy should lose, all of their research funding. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that they need to adhere to the rules. Vandy knows how much money they get. And so if they're really willing, because Trump will pull it, if they're really willing to risk $1 billion in funding, if the president is threatening to take some of this funding away, if they still adhere to DEI, I mean, you saw what happened at Harvard, right? So with Harvard, Donald Trump did take away their grants, their federal funding. I think he even took away their tax-exempt status at Harvard. So if they want to continue down this road, they are risking a lot. And I think that is absolutely insane. So now, again, the question is, Jack Johnson and the rest of the folks at the state legislature, are they going to investigate whether or not these universities here in the state of Tennessee are still doing these programs related to diversity, equity, and inclusion and just changing the names? 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Joan Jones is in the WTN newsroom. Joan, what's coming up at 7:30?
So just how long will this heat wave last? Well, Stefano's got the answer to that coming up, and what Congressman Andy Ogles has to say about the House taking early summer vacation. That's coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:22 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Xfinity. I've been an Xfinity fan and a client and a customer for years. You know, change is always happening. It is part of life. And when it comes to music here in Music City, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, and bands and artists, they do come and go. Even our taste in music does change, but no matter how things change in 5 years, one thing that is going to stay the same. That is the price of your internet. Xfinity right now is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. That means that you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that's going to stay exactly the same over the next 5 years. Now, if you're surprised, well, of course, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Learn more at their website, xfinity.com/deals. That xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed broadband experience. Report August 2024. I got big Marsha Blackburn news, by the way, coming up at 7:35 on Nashville's Morning News. Dan Matt is here from my friends at Contours. Now, listen, if you're having trouble fitting into your bathing suit here in the middle of July, they can help you with a belly buster special. Now, listen, they've got that going on right now here in the month of July. So if you want to take advantage of the belly buster special, $99. It's going to get you that first belly buster special, and you got to call right now. First 10 callers get it for $99 at 615-236-9960. This is Contours. A lot of people in Middle Tennessee have been going to take advantage of Contours and their red light technology. It is not only incredibly unique, but also effective. Red light technology, by the way, if you don't know, red light technology, all the rage across America, and certainly at Contours, because people are finding out that it does work. You can lose a couple of inches across the middle, as a matter of fact. Chad Benson and I have both gone through this treatment, and we both really loved our results. So call Contours right now. First 10 callers get that belly buster special for $99. 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. Find out how it all works at ContoursLLC.com. $7:29, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. I'll go ahead and very quickly, Joan, do the big Marsha Blackburn news right now.
Oh.
It looks like Chris, it's not big news, but Chris Hand has Marsha Blackburn, Senator Marsha Blackburn, not representative like people at Vandy think. Right. Senator Marsha Blackburn coming on to comment on the Vandy story at 10:45 this morning with Chris Hand.
Will he press her for whether she's going to run for governor?
I don't know. Why don't you ask him that?
I will.
Matt Murphy tried.
Yeah.
And he failed miserably. And I'm not criticizing Matt at all. He basically, you know what he did? He basically did what I did, and I forget who I was talking to. But I said, is there anything you want to announce today? Any news maybe you might want to break? Who was I talking to? You were there, Joan.
Yeah, it was one of the
It was one of somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I did that to Scott Sapicki or something like that, and he told me to have a good day.
Yes.
That was epic.
Fail.
That's one of my absolute favorite Scott Sapicki moments. You have a good day, Dan. Oh, that was beautiful. All right. Anyway, we've got a lot more straight ahead. It is Nashville's Morning News on WTN.
Good morning. It is 7:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, we're not getting a break from Mother Nature anytime soon. Stefano DiPietro telling us that this heat wave will stretch into next week. Today will certainly feel uncomfortable.
The heat index, this is just the next 4 days, 105 to 110 degrees across most of the area. Could even feel hotter than that in some locations. Excessive heat warning, or an extreme heat warning, I should say, in far west Middle Tennessee. Most of the rest of the mid-state heat advisory today. The exception, once again, is out in the Cumberland Plateau.
And as always, check out his full forecast in about 3 minutes.
Camp residents, this is the Office of Emergency Management. We have cold water for you.
Yeah, whenever the heat index reaches 105 or higher, there's a team in Davidson County that goes out and distributes cold water to Nashville's homeless. Well, Nashville Emergency Support Unit tells Channel 4 that the heat this year is a little different.
You know, we'll have a spell here and a spell there, but this has kind of been the longest stretch I've seen. Sometimes just a couple of bottles of water can make a difference, you know, in cooling your body down.
This all-volunteer unit's been doing the same mission since the 1950s, and they'll certainly be out there today. Speaker Mike Johnson calling an early recess, foregoing a vote on bipartisan legislation that's aimed at forcing the release of Epstein documents. But Tennessee 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles telling WTN's Matt Murphy that he'd rather stay in Washington and vote.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm always one of those voices that says, look, as we barrel towards another CR continuing resolution, let's stay here over the weekend. Let's work longer days. And let's get through the appropriations process. I mean, that normal, it's called normal order, which simply is creating a budget.
Current funding of the federal government will run out at the end of September. That's the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:33, Nashville's Morning News. The Glock store. Man, I love the Glock store. You folks know why I love the Glock store so much. Let's just talk about it real quick. First, they've got the biggest selection of Glock handguns in the country. Now, when I first went into the Glock store, I'm going to be honest with you, I had no idea how epic it was until I really started looking around. Place is huge. And when they say that they've got every Glock in stock, I mean, we're talking about every version of every model. And the custom Glocks, they are true works of art. It is worth the drive just to check them out. Check out the Trump Glocks. They are incredible. Second, by the way, the people, they're at the Glock store. They're not just Glock experts. They are Glock aficionados. They love talking about Glocks and Glock accessories and Glock performance products. You will never feel rushed or like you're asking too many questions. And they have employees, believe it or not, who drive in from Kentucky every single day just because they love working at the Glock store. Of course, their community, their customer service is incredible. It is unmatched. Here's an example. If their door is open for business at the Glock store, they've got a certified Glock gunsmith on duty. Now, they're going to install your enhancement or performance parts for free while you wait. That's just that's just three of the many, many reasons why the Glock store is my favorite gun store. You can check them out as well. The Glock store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. .735 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And by the way, I am trading text messages with Senate Majority Leader for the state of Tennessee, Jack Johnson. So, Sam, if you could watch the hotline, and he's going to call in. I'm going to ask him, all right, so what do you folks, there in the state legislature going to do about the possibility that our major universities are still doing DEI, according to Fox News and Town Hall. So if you could watch the hotline, that'd be great. Tennessee National, if you are a lake lover, if you've always wanted to live by the lake, listen up, because Tennessee National, Lakefront Resort, they've got a golf and marina community as well. They are releasing a brand new phase of lake lots, one day only, on Saturday, July 26th. Cottage packages with a boat slip, they are starting at $359.9. An acre and a half lake lot with covered boat slips, they are starting at $99.9. Move-in ready homes with free upgraded outdoor kitchens, $30,000 off. This is a great community just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee, about 20 minutes outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. They've got a private golf cart access to a new marina and resort, 10 miles of walking trails and 3.5 miles of shoreline. They've got pickleball. They've got swimming pools. They've got an on-site coffee shop and so much more. Check them out. Again, only 20 minutes outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. Financing is available. Enjoy life on the water, fresh air, boat rides, and sunshine. Check them out online, TennesseeNational.com. And don't forget, they're releasing a brand new phase of lake lots, one day only, this coming Saturday, July 26th. Call them at 865-408-9992. Find them online. It is TennesseeNational.com.
Pretty slow heading in this morning on 24, the westbound lane, starting in the Laverne area. You've got delays on 40. Looks pretty normal, making your way into the city as well. And same thing coming in from the north. Looks very slow this morning on 24 and 65 into the Merge area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 7:38 on Nashville's Morning News. Hey, there he is right there. Sam, he's calling right now. Jack Johnson is calling into the radio program. Joan, because if you say somebody's name 3 times on the show,
they appear out of nowhere.
They magically appear on the show. And Senate Majority Leader, State Senator Jack Johnson, is joining us on the Newsmaker Hotline. All right, so Senator Johnson, you heard me talking about how the accusation is from townhall.com and Fox News that we do have, they say, and I played the audio, Vanderbilt University and also UT, both still utilizing DEI. They've just changed the names, but apparently they still have some of those tenets going on. So what do you do in that kind of a situation? If I remember right, you were the sponsor of the bill. Ultimately, that made it illegal here in the state of Tennessee.
Well, good morning, Dan. You're right. I was proud to sponsor that legislation to make sure that we eradicate any semblance whatsoever of diversity, equity, inclusion in the state of Tennessee through government institutions, and that would include a public university like the University of Tennessee. This particular instance is disturbing. I have spoken with leadership at both Vanderbilt and the University of Tennessee, as I'm sure a number of my colleagues have as well, because we're getting calls from constituents and very concerned about this. Leadership at both of those institutions have told me, and they're telling my colleagues, that this does not represent the views of leadership at those institutions. In each of these instances, and I'm still learning about the details of the video and who it actually was, but it appears to be people that are lower level staffer type people that perhaps don't like the fact that we banned diversity, equity, and inclusion in the state of Tennessee and are trying to find ways around it to still try to implement it. We're not going to accept that in Tennessee. We're not going to have that. I've made that clear to both the leadership at both of those institutions. We expect them to adhere not only to the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law. There will be no DEI in Tennessee.
How do you go about rooting out that kind of a thing? Because, and I don't know, I said the names and who they are, but I don't know the hierarchy of colleges. But I guess my question would be, how do you go about rooting it out? I mean, you can pass laws all you want, but clearly, just like all across the country, colleges are still doing that. Do you work with, the upper echelons of people that run the college? I mean, if you can make yourself clear, but if it's still happening, down below, how do you fight that?
Well, there has to be accountability. And, when you look at an institution like Vanderbilt or the University of Tennessee, and by the way, both great institutions. I mean, they really are, and they're incredibly important to our state and our communities, whether it's Knoxville, Memphis. You've got the UT Medical Center in Memphis. Obviously, Vanderbilt is a really, really important and really, truly a great institution in our community. But they are massive. They are large. They employ thousands of people. And when you have a change in culture, which is what we're trying to do at some of these academic institutions, they have a lot of left-leaning people there who don't agree with people like you and me. They don't agree with the majority of Tennesseans who believe in traditional conservative values. And so it is a culture change. And so it may take some time, but what I expect from the leadership of these institutions is accountability for those people that are employed there. And I want to see, and I think that my colleagues in the General Assembly want to see, and that's why we passed this law, to ban diversity and equity and inclusion in the state of Tennessee, we want to see accountability. And if there are people that are trying to push back on that, they have to be held accountable. That may mean that they can no longer work there. There has to be some type of disciplinary action. And again, in these particular instances, I don't know enough about them. We will learn more. But I want to say this. I want your listeners to know that not only the University of Tennessee, but also Vanderbilt, they reached out to me, and I know they're reaching out to others. They are aware of this. They know it's a problem, and they have given us assurances that they're going to deal with it. And I hope that they do, and we will continue discussing it with them.
Belmont University, last question, Senator. I know you've got a lot going on. Belmont University was also accused, again, a situation where it was a secretly recorded video, and basically the same thing. Andy Ogles, the congressman, has called for an investigation into Belmont as well. Does it change because that's a Christian university?
Well, you do have a distinction with regards to state public institutions versus private. You know, University of Tennessee is a public university supported by Tennessee taxpayer dollars. Vanderbilt and Belmont are different, but they're similar in this respect. And this is what I think Congressman Ogles was getting at, is that they do receive federal money, and in some instances they receive some state dollars too through grant type programs. So there is a distinction, but they should still be held accountable, because President Trump has issued an executive order relative to those institutions that receive federal dollars, and his mandate that they eliminate DEI as well. So it's kind of semantics about who can hold them accountable. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think Tennesseans agree. We in the General Assembly agree. We do not want the discrimination that comes with diversity, equity, inclusion taking place really at any of our important institutions.
Senator, I really appreciate you coming on the show at the last minute here. So thank you very much. And when this continues to develop, will you come back on and give us an update?
I will be happy to, Dan. I appreciate you reaching out.
All right. State Senator Jack Johnson, the Senate Majority Leader as well. Always great to have him on the program. It is 7:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. Thank you. 7:45, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As far as your weather for today, it is going to be hot. Very, very hot. Sunny, hot, high near 97. The feels like temperature, 104 up to 110. Slight chance of showers as well. And appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan, do you ever watch The Five? Do you ever watch The Five on Fox News there?
Like daily, yeah.
You do. Okay, I want to notice a couple things. See if you've noticed a couple things.
Okay.
So you've got Jessica Tarlov, who is the lone progressive voice on there. They've got another guy whose name escapes me, who is also a progressive.
Oh, it's the former Tennessee Congressman Hank.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
A nice guy.
My wife loves him. Absolutely loves him.
Harold Ford.
Harold Ford. Thank you.
He's really a terrific guy.
He is. I mean, with him, I can forgive his progressive tendencies.
Yes.
So there's two progressives that kind of rotate in and out on the Five on Fox. You've got Harold Ford and you've got Jessica Tarlov. Have you noticed? Because Amy and I have both noticed that they seem to like Harold Ford a lot more than they like Jessica Tarlov.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so it's not just me.
No.
They just...
Jessica Tarlov reminds me a lot of Juan
Williams.
Juan Williams.
Yeah, NPR.
She's always loaded with the latest, the PR that gets handed down from the DNC.
Yeah,
she always has it top of mind, and she's always willing to spew it. And Harold he gets it. He sees his party from the 30,000-foot view instead of, seeing all the little things that the DNC puts out.
Harold is sort of like more of a thinking man.
He is.
As opposed to Jessica Tarlov. And I've caught her in lies before. I can't remember. There was one a couple weeks ago you and I talked about.
Yeah.
Where I mean, I caught her in a bald-faced lie.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw yesterday's The Five. I had like 6 people send this to me. Did you see Greg Gutfeld? He just absolutely obliterated her.
My daughter called in the middle of it. I'm like, I should put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But no, I wasn't able to watch the whole thing, and I heard about this.
Okay, so I'm going to play it for folks.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, they were. I think they were talking about Epstein, and but I mean, you know, the whole Epstein, Obama setting up Trump in 2016. All of these topics are like blending together now. I don't know if you've noticed that, but let's go ahead and just if we could, Sam, let's play that audio.
This is such old news. It's beyond comprehension that we're talking about. And I understand that this Epstein situation is very tricky for the administration. And day by day, it gets worse and worse and worse. But they are pulling out all of the greatest hits to try to inflame the minds of their most, conspiracy theory addled base. So that
hold
they
on.
hear.
So she is about to inflame the mind of one Greg Gutfeld. Go.
Brennan, Clapper, Obama, Hillary, and they get activated, and suddenly they won't be mad at Trump anymore for not releasing the Epstein files or whatever he had to do with any of it. It's preposterous that we were talking about Hillary Clinton's emails again in year 2025.
We spent years on this story. No, let me. We had to take this story seriously for years, and it was false.
It wasn't false.
No. For people to understand what happened, all right? Because the problem with this story is that nobody knows what you're talking about. When Trump won in 2016, the intel community concluded that Russia didn't have a hand in his victory. Instead of accepting the inclusion, Obama determined and wanted a new conclusion. So he sent Brennan running to come up with a new conclusion, that there was some kind of trivial involvement that then they could feed out to the media. And coincidentally, dozens of news organizations said that Trump was in bed with Putin and that somehow Brennan knew. Brennan knew. How did he know?
Why
There was
did
no
John
proof.
Durham
There
do
was no
nothing?
proof. There was no proof.
Why did Durham do nothing then?
But no, let me finish. They amplified a false conclusion that Trump colluded with Russia in 2016. We had to spend years dealing with that. And now we're actually getting investigation, and you're saying, no, you know what? You guys should just move on. You guys should just move. You say the same effing thing about Biden's brain. You guys spent 4 years telling us that Joe Biden was fine. You covered up for an invalid. And then when we get the truth, it's like, oh, you know what? It's time. We got to look forward. We got to start talking about what's there. And you can bring up Epstein all you want. We, unlike Democrats, we can handle 2 things, 3 things, 4 things at once.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, no. Have you been listening to the right lately? The right is more on top of Epstein than the Democrats are.
Yep.
The Democrats never cared about Epstein until they saw a political motivation. The right was into the Epstein story because women were being sex trafficked. We actually cared. But now you're like, ooh, Epstein, a political angle. Ooh, this is fantastic. Save me your selective outrage.
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
Just slam dunked on her.
That was perfect.
It was. And that, you know what? That was I guess 2.5 minutes. That didn't feel like 2.5 minutes. It probably felt like an hour to Jessica Tarlov.
Yeah.
So,
They routinely give her the business, and she comes back. The pay must be really good.
Has to be.
Yeah, because they really beat up on her, and they try to do it with a smile.
Not that time.
No.
Actually, what I've noticed is Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld both, they just have so little patience for Jessica Tarlov because I think, I mean, you hit it right on the head. She talks in talking points, right?
Yeah, she does.
She gets the notice, she gets the facts from the DNC, FAX, which obviously is not a fax, but she gets the talking points from the DNC, and oftentimes she actually has this is what it is. No logic, just talking points.
Yep.
That's what it is with Jessica Tarlov. So anyway, that was fun, and
yeah, it was.
I had so many people send that to me, and I wake up from my afternoon stupor, and I said to Amy, it's like, what in the world happened on the 5? And she's like, oh, I sent it to you. So anyway, there you go. So I played it for everybody. 7:52 on Nashville's Morning News, and Joan Jones has the news at 8. Joan.
Yeah, what does Pam Bondi have to say about the Wall Street Journal's latest President Trump story? We'll tell you. Also, the roller coaster ride through the courts with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We'll bring you the latest. That's coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, by the way, coming up after the news at 8, going to play you some more incredible audio, this time by Tulsi Gabbard as she slam dunks on one Barack Obama. So that story for you is coming up next on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here. You know, the weather here in Middle Tennessee can get crazy, which is why you need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter. Now, they are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. You can get a free quote and get peace of mind when you have one installed. The Generator Supercenter does feature installation and 24-hour monitoring, so they're not going to leave you in the dark. Financing is available as well. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out and get that backup home standby generator. 615-879-1952. 615-879-1952. The website, generatorsupercenterofnashville.com. Man, you never know what's going to happen in Middle Tennessee when it comes to storms. And I've heard so many stories about people and their roofs getting destroyed in a storm. Now, what would happen if that did happen to you? Would your insurance company cover the full replacement cost? A lot of these places, they won't cover the replacement cost. They're going to deduct money if you have an older roof. How old is your roof? Do you even know how old your roof is? If you've got a 20-year-old roof and it's destroyed in that storm, well, guess what's going to happen? The insurance company is going to depreciate how much they pay for your roof claim. If you've got an older roof, they are going to pay you less. And that means that when you have to replace that roof, you're on the hook for thousands of dollars. Now, my friends at King & Associates, they've been sounding the alarm on this for a long time. All they ask, and all I ask, is that you ask your current insurance company whether or not they will pay for full replacement cost. Now, King & Associates do. Whether you have to replace a 20-year-old roof or 2-year-old roof, they will pay for it to be replaced, period. That is King & Associates Insurance. It is that kind of focus on customer service that makes King & Associates Insurance one of the best insurance companies around. They are looking out for you. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-329-8121. Get your royal review. tkinginsurance.com. $7:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to play some audio real quick, if I could get some audio, please, where Vice President J.D. Vance, and man, I like him. I think I shared it with you folks on the air, that they did the Poly Market. We did talk about this. Poly Market is out there saying that J.D. Vance is going to be our next president of the United States. And he was asked at an event the other day about amnesty. And will amnesty happen here in America under President Trump? Listen.
What the president has said is, number one, we're not going to do amnesty in this country. We're actually not going to tell people who have come into the country illegally that they're allowed to break our laws and be rewarded for it. We're just not going to do that. But there are a whole host of other ways when we talk to, agricultural industries and others where they say, well, we really need labor. Well, there are a whole host of ways in which you can try to solve those problems. My favorite solution for those problems is automation, right? I actually think there's a lot of evidence that the American agricultural economy is a little behind the 8 ball when it comes to using technology. There are ways where we're talking about facilitating the use of automation. So we're not going to have amnesty, but we also recognize that there are a lot of industries out there we want to thrive. And I think the president's trying to strike the right balance.
Yeah, there you go. And I like what he says, especially when they start talking about how can automation help in this situation. So we've got a lot going on. Hey, in the 8 o'clock hour, I loved how Tulsi Gabbard slam dunked on Barack Obama. I've got some great audio from her. I've got the instance where John Brennan committed perjury. That story for you and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A new report in the Wall Street Journal claims that the Department of Justice informed President Trump in May that his name appears in the Jeffrey Epstein files. However, that story only cites anonymous sources. Now we're hearing what Pam Bondi has to say about that report.
The Attorney General now says nothing in the files warranted further investigation or prosecution, and we have filed a motion in court to unseal the underlying grand jury transcripts. But a federal judge in Florida declined to release grand jury information, which is supposed to remain secret, saying the court's hands are tied.
ABC's Aaron Katursky there. Today, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche meets with Ghislaine Maxwell at her prison in Tallahassee, Florida. Columbia University is set to pay a 9-figure settlement to restore federal funding.
Columbia University has reached a settlement with the Trump administration, agreeing to pay more than $200 million to resolve claims it discriminated against Jewish students. The deal will restore federal grants for the school that were canceled over alleged violations of anti-discrimination laws. Columbia did not admit to any wrongdoing. On a social media, President Trump posting the university agreed to end their DEI policies, touting it as a historic agreement. Dave Packer, ABC News, New York.
There has been a passenger plane crash in Russia, and the Russian news agency Interfax is saying that plane crashed in a far eastern region. WSMV4's Holly Thompson.
The plane dropped off radar before reaching its destination. Now, it was headed to a town that borders China. The plane was operated by a Siberia-based airline. We know everyone on board, unfortunately, was killed in that crash.
And 5 children were among the passengers. Metro Nashville schools holding more open interviews today to help fill 170 open positions. At Memphis Shelby County Schools, they're working to fill 300 jobs. So why so many? One possible answer from J.C. Bowman, the CEO and Executive Director of Professional Educators of Tennessee. He spoke to Channel 4.
Working conditions are extremely hard. They're hard on any job, I get that. But on educators, during a work week, you may look at 60, 70, 80 hours a week. We're going to be above the national average on teacher vacancies.
Today's in-person interviews will run from 9:30 to 12:30 at the district's headquarters. Well, just after one judge ordered Kilmar Abrego Garcia to be released from federal custody yesterday, another judge paused that order for 30 days. Now, the pause, which both parties had asked for, is allowing the government the chance to appeal. It also allows Abrego Garcia's team to seek further relief. So for now, Abrego Garcia is staying put in a Tennessee jail. Market Numbers Report. It's brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We have about a half hour to go here before the opening bell. The Dow futures are down 326 points. That's after a gain of over 500 yesterday. NASDAQ futures are plus 37. No change in the S&P futures. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. There is a crash in Antioch. It's on Bell Road at Cane Ridge Road. Seeing heavy delays this morning in the Talbot's Corner area as at the merge there between 24 and 65. Not sure if it's an accident or not. We do have delays on 24 in the westbound lanes. The normal delays stacking up there in Laverne. Looks like there is a crash on the left shoulder, and it's blocked before Old Hickory Boulevard South, exit 62. Careful in that area. Otherwise, looking pretty good. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:06 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. How are you? And happy Thursday. The investigation into Barack Obama and his administration, it does continue, seems to be reaching a fever pitch. Now, yesterday, DNI Tulsi Gabbard, she laid out even more accusations against Barack Obama, and I'm going to call them his henchmen, as they tried to frame Donald Trump in this whole Russian collusion thing. Now, first of all, one of the things that she did was she went through some of the key findings from a House Intel report that has now been classified. There was this moment, as Gabbard is laying all of this out, one of the things I noticed is that CNN, I don't know if you saw this, CNN actually couldn't take it anymore, and they broke in. Listen to what they did.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th.
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what has now been a multi-day effort, not only with public statements like this, but release of documents to attempt to back up the...
You'll notice the hit on the word attempt.
Attempt.
Right? Did you hear that, Joan?
Oh, I did. That's like Peter Jennings used to do the raised eyebrow thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's the raised eyebrow in audio form.
There you go.
Release of documents to attempt to back up the quite extreme allegation that President...
How is that an extreme allegation? Like,
Yeah.
this is what frustrates me, is that you've got this guy on CNN. I don't even know who this is, but the extraordinary allegation, in other words, what he's trying to do, the picture that he's trying to paint is that these are, these are accusations that are seemingly, there's nothing behind them. Do you know what I mean? They're accusations, but they have no meat. That's what he's trying to say. And I'm sorry, but if the Department of National Intelligence, if the DNI comes out with these actual reports and these actual specific allegations with receipts, well, yeah, those are extraordinary allegations. Do you know why? Because what they did was extraordinarily bad, because what Obama and Brennan and all these people tried to do was hijack a presidency. That's what they tried to do. They tried to hijack a presidency, and they tried to politically assassinate Donald Trump's term in office. And so, yeah, this is pretty extraordinary. Yeah, it sure is.
President Obama is guilty of treason and that he worked in some sort of conspiracy with Hillary Clinton, et cetera, in the assessment by the intelligence community at the time that Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
So I guess the question is, and by the way, I believe that was right in the beginning, Joan, of that press conference. I don't know for certain, but I think that it was right in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that CNN doesn't want the American people to hear? Well, thankfully, there's people like me that have all the audio. So why wouldn't CNN, at the very least, air the press conference and then have someone there to give perspective from the left, their side of the aisle, or refute the allegations? Instead, they don't want people to hear the allegations. And so let's be honest. Part of this discussion is how the media was complicit in all of this. They screamed that Donald Trump and Russian collusion for years. Well, let's hear what Tulsi Gabbard had to say.
Putin's principal interests relating to the 2016 election were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process, not show any preference of a certain candidate. In fact, this report shows Putin held back from leaking compromising material on Hillary Clinton prior to the election, instead planning to release it after the election to weaken what Moscow viewed as an inevitable Clinton presidency.
There you go. And this is from Fox News. Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, the SVR, possessed DNC communications. This is DNC communications, folks, that Hillary Clinton was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. I think you could just have stopped at psycho when you're talking about Hillary Clinton. They stated the report, which the committee based on 20 interviews with intelligence officers and FBI agents, as well as a review of source material for the 2017 Obama-ordered report on Russian election meddling. And so this was all over the media last night and this morning, this discussion about what the DNC and what their communications were related to Hillary Clinton being, having this intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. Clinton was placed on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. And while afraid of losing, she remained obsessed with a thirst for power. I mean, heavy tranquilizers. We spoke earlier when I talked about this in the 5 o'clock hour. Remember when she was leaving that 9/11 function in New York City, I think it was, and she was, they're trying to get her into the van, and she collapsed.
And she collapses, yeah.
Nobody ever had any kind of an explanation for that, Joan.
Nope. She's fine. You're seeing nothing here. I remember those reports. They said she's fine. She's exhausted.
Well, and they say uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. I mean, that sounds
manic.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, manic.
Manic. That was the word I was looking for. Manic.
I'll take it a step further. It sounds like she was possessed.
Well, I think Hillary's nuts anyway. By September 2016, some of those communications showed then President Barack Obama and Democratic Party bosses found the state of Clinton's health extremely alarming, extraordinarily alarming, and fretted that it could have a serious negative impact on her ability to beat Donald Trump that November. But there's more. There's a lot more beyond just health and tranquilizers.
In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory. The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department.
So, when I play that, I don't hear any collusion between Donald Trump and Russia. I hear collusion between Hillary and these religious leaders and Hillary and the State Department and these employees pledging their support for Hillary Clinton. And the point of all of this is to say that Putin wasn't trying to help Trump or Clinton. What he was trying to do was create doubt in our political process. That is ultimately what he was trying to do. And by the way, yours truly said this on WTN back in 2016.
Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
Right. It was all a bunch of BS, and we've got more of that BS straight ahead. Joan Jones has, what am I doing? Traffic. It is 8:15, time for traffic on WTN. As far as your weather for today, it's going to be hot, generally sunny, a few afternoon clouds, thunderstorms possible, a high of 97, going to feel up towards somewhere between, depending on where you are, 104 and 110 degrees on Super Talk 99.7. So they ignore the facts that are present, right? I'm talking about Obama. I'm talking about Clapper and Comey and all of the Brennan and all these folks. So they ignore the facts that are present. That Vladimir Putin is trying to simply cause chaos, and instead, they set forward with a new set of their own made-up facts that creates the narrative that Vladimir Putin is trying to help Donald Trump, and that Donald Trump was in on it.
Brennan and the IC misled lawmakers by referencing the debunked Steele dossier to assess, quote unquote, Russia's plans and intentions, falsely suggesting that this dossier had intelligence value when he knew that it was discredited. The intelligence community excluded significant intelligence and ignored or selectively quoted reliable intelligence that contradicted the intelligence community assessment's key findings on Putin's alleged support for Trump.
Yep.
Including this intelligence reporting would have exposed the ICA's claim as implausible, if not ridiculous.
Right, and we've all been pointing out that before the election, Russia did not have the intention or the ability to influence our election. And that was exactly what the Obama administration needed to change. So they all had a meeting. It's December 9th of 2016, and you had President Obama, you had John Brennan, you had Susan Rice, and a lot of others, and they hatched their plan.
Following that secret meeting, DNI Clapper's assistant sent an email to the intelligence community with the subject line, POTUS tasking on Russia election meddling, tasking ODNI leaders to create a new assessment per the president's request. The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report that we released today reveals that, quote, unlike routine intelligence community analysis, the intelligence community assessment was a high-profile product ordered by the president, President Obama. It directed senior intelligence community agency heads and created an intelligence community assessment limited to just 5 analysts using one principal drafter. This is not something that occurs in the normal path of producing an intelligence community assessment that reflects the views across the intelligence community.
So they tighten the circle. That's what they're doing. They're tightening the circle. Obama orders an assessment using just 5 analysts and 1 drafter. And again, that means that he is tightening the circle, the people that are in on it. Now, why would that be? Well, it turns out it's because they wanted to use intelligence or material that was dubious at best to try to frame Donald Trump.
The production of this intelligence community assessment was subject to unusual directives directly from the president and senior political appointees, especially the former director of the CIA, John Brennan. The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report also shows how later that same day, on December 9th, Brennan ordered the publication of quote-unquote substandard reporting on Russian activities, which had previously been withheld from publication of prior assessments because the information was judged, quote, to have not met long-standing publication standards. Some of the information later used in the Obama-ordered assessment over the objections of veteran CIA officers was, quote-unquote, unclear or from unknown sources.
Right, and so you have very few people and 1 drafter trying to basically execute Obama's directive to try to frame Trump, ignoring, by the way, that Hillary was also being targeted by Vladimir Putin, ignoring that Russia really didn't want to influence the election. He was eyeing some post-election drama by bringing up all of the previously mentioned issues with Hillary Clinton's health, ignoring the fact that they had even said that Vladimir Putin did not have the ability to influence the election. Instead, Obama and his henchmen plow forward with all of this BS information to get Donald Trump.
The Intelligence Committee's oversight report reveals that CIA Director Brennan overruled senior CIA officers who challenged the Obama-ordered intelligence assessment, stating, quote, we don't have direct information that Putin wanted to get Trump elected. Yet, the Obama-directed assessment was published on January 6, 2017, which explicitly stated, quote, we assess Putin and the Russian government aspired to help President-elect Trump's election chances when possible by discrediting Secretary Clinton and publicly contrasting her unfavorably to him, end of quote. The CIA and FBI, then led by John Brennan and James Comey, expressed high confidence in this judgment, while the NSA expressed moderate confidence. Yet, as the report we released today shows, the ICA, the Intelligence Community Assessment, did not cite any report where Putin indicated helping Trump win was an objective. The opposite is true.
Exactly. So I got to tell you, I love what Tulsi Gabbard did yesterday. She absolutely brought the receipts. Real quickly, John Brennan was in front of Congress, and this was when all of this was being investigated. And he said, no, the dossier was not used in the assessment that Donald Trump and the Russians colluded. Well, it turns out, if you believe the documents that are available and have been released, it turns out that it was. And this is John Brennan lying to Congress.
Did the CIA rely on it?
No.
Why not?
Because we didn't. It wasn't part of the corpus of intelligence information that we had. It was not in any way used as a basis for the intelligence community assessment that was done. It was not.
All right, so that is John Brennan. And by the way, Tulsi Gabbard pushed back on that assessment. I've got that audio straight ahead. By the way, find me on X, if you will, and Dan Mandis Show. And I did a poll today. We couldn't do it on YouTube for technical reasons, but on X I did. Do you believe that anything will come of Tulsi Gabbard's investigation into Obama on Russian collusion? And 26% of you said yes, and 74% of you said no. One of the things that I mentioned in the 5 o'clock hour is, okay, so to what end? Why is Tulsi Gabbard doing this? And here's the problem. Here's the bottom line, at least for me, is that this is going to more than likely have to go through a grand jury. Ultimately, if it even gets that far, it's going to have to go to a grand jury. Where is that grand jury going to be pulled from? That grand jury will be pulled from Washington, D.C. And we know already that a jury pool from Washington, D.C. is going to be extremely supportive of one Barack Hussein Obama. There are a lot of lefties over there. There are a lot of progressives out there, a lot of Democrats. Oh, and by the way, Donald Trump just fired a lot of those people who worked for the federal government. So that is the question. Will this ultimately lead to anything? And if not, well, then what's the point? I believe that even if it's not going to lead to anything, I still think that this is something that the Trump administration needs to go after to let the American people know just how insidious and sinister the Democrats are. 824, Joan Jones has the news at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, it looks like there'll be a meeting with Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Powell. That's happening in her prison today. And why President Trump is set to visit the Federal Reserve today. We've got details on that coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 824, Nashville's Morning News. Tennessee National. Listen, if you're a lake lover, listen up. Dan Mandis here. Tennessee National is a lakefront resort, golf, and marina community. They are releasing a brand new phase of lake lots. One day only. That is coming up on Saturday, July 26th. So if you've always wanted to live by the lake, they've got some great deals. Cottage packages with boat slips, they're starting at $359.9. 1.5 acre lots with covered boat slips, they are starting at $99.9. And move-in ready homes with free upgraded outdoor kitchen, $30,000 off. Now, as far as the amenities, and by the way, Tennessee National, this is 20 minutes outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. They've got incredible amenities, a private golf cart access to a new marina and resort, 10 miles of walking trails, 3.5 miles of shoreline. They've got pickleball, swimming pools, on-site coffee shop, and a whole lot more. So check them out. You can enjoy life on the water with Tennessee National. And don't forget that they are releasing a brand new phase of lake lots. That is coming up this Saturday. You want to call them, secure your private tour. 865-408-9992. 865-408-9992. Find them online anytime, TennesseeNational.com.
Good morning, 8:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The second highest ranking official at the Justice Department is headed to Florida for what could be a very consequential meeting today.
Jeffrey Epstein's former associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, is expected to sit down with the Justice Department to discuss potential accomplices in Epstein's international sex ring. Maxwell is set to meet with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche in Tallahassee, Florida, where she's serving a 20-year sentence for child trafficking. Maxwell is also now being subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee to testify as part of an investigation into how Epstein evaded accountability for decades.
That's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. President Trump visits the Federal Reserve today in what appears to be an escalation in his ongoing feud with Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The president will join a group of administration officials as they eyeball some of the $2.5 billion renovations there. Some in the administration argue it's been a waste of taxpayer dollars and it could amount to a fireable offense for Powell. The visit is scheduled for 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Reporters are going along with them. The city of Nashville is holding a citywide fair today. It starts at 10 o'clock. It's at the Nashville Farmers Market on Rosa Parks Boulevard. This is a jobs fair. There are dozens of jobs that need to be filled. Metro Veteran Services will also be there to answer questions for veterans who recently left the service and are seeking employment. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. A bit of a rocky start for stocks this morning. The Dow Jones Industrials minus 316 right now. The NASDAQ rising 80 points in the early going. The S&P 500 index is up 11. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
8:32, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Dan Mandis here. You know, my upstairs bathtub. I've decided, Chris, that I'm going to acquiesce to the demands of Tennessee Nation, of WTN Nation.
Good. It's about time.
I'm going to post photos. In fact, Amy, if you're listening, send me some photos of our holy bathtub.
She's very embarrassed by it.
Amy is?
Yes.
Well, she should be. We've had that bathroom for like 7 years and that bathtub for 7 years, and yet it still has holes in it. So I'm gonna, post the photo of what a holy bathtub looks like. It doesn't mean the water inside the bathtub is holy water, by the way.
No, but the people need to see these pics.
They do, because the people of Tennessee have been clamoring for photos of my bathtub. Anyway, so I'm gonna post that, and if Amy lets me, and you can see exactly what I mean. But Zentex, they are here to fix it. Now, if you've got a bathtub that needs work, they've been in business since 2001, and yeah, they are here to help you. Now, they can remodel your shower, they can remodel your bathtub, they can even convert that bathtub into a walk-in shower. Now, you know that these types of home improvements, they can increase the value of your home, and Zentex, they can have it wrapped up in a day. Now, this is an award-winning company that offers limited lifetime warranties for both their products and the installation. You can make your bathroom safer with a walk-in shower complete with grab bars and a bench seat. This is a great way to help the older folks in your life. And honestly, people like that, they do need the assist and the support. Amy's saying that she's preparing for my old age, by the way. So
she wants a walk-in tub?
She wants it, well, for me.
Yeah, clearly.
With complete with, the grab bars.
Yeah.
Because that's what I need.
Maybe a life alert necklace.
And a bench. Got to have a bench to sit.
Crab bars and benches for me. So when I'm 90 and I'm in there trying to take a shower. Anyway, that phone number is 629-258-7747. Fix, remodel, or convert your tub into a shower today with Zentex. A great deal right now. You mentioned WTN. You get $1,750 off or no interest for 24 months, whichever works best for you. No payments either for 2 years. 629-258-7747, ZINTEX, Zentex.com. Dan Mandis here for Loan Pronto. I can't believe you just said that.
What?
Maxed out on credit cards. If you're struggling with high interest debt, you could pay it all off in days with my friends at Loan Pronto. Dan Mann is here. Get cash out right now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, and no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto, it is amazing. You know, at Loan Pronto, they just had one client get $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, they renovated their kitchen, and they cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That is a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals and low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Find them online, loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780. Get debt relief right now with loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. On approved credit, NMLS, consumeraccess.org. The Wellness Institute of Nashville in the middle of their July special, $12 for a comprehensive exam. Get your x-rays if you need them, well-explained diagnosis as well, and that first treatment, again, $12. That is the July special from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know what they specialize in. If you suffer from back and neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, any number of issues, they can help you with their state-of-the-art non-surgical spinal decompression. No surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. They can help you today at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They helped me, and again, they can help you as well. Call them at 615-246-5009. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-246-5009, painisbad.com. .837, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7, WTN. Dan here, along with Chris Hand. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Dan.
Joan is here. Hello, Joan.
Hello, Dan.
Sam is scowling at me already. It's only like day number 3.
I've been nothing but smiles today. What are you talking about?
Listen, I know, but ask any guy that's married. Sometimes when the wife is smiling at you, not that you're my wife, but when the wife is smiling at you, she is secretly plotting your death. Ask Hillary and Bill.
No, she'll just give me those eyes. I don't.
Were you surprised,
the
Chris?
dagger eyes.
Dagger eyes. That's right.
If Hillary gives you those eyes, run.
They're real daggers.
She might pull one of those tranquilizers out of her butt and, send it to you. So were you surprised at this? This is DNC conversations going back and forth that she had all of these issues.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily surprised at the health problems because we kind of saw that happening in real time with the coughing. Wasn't there like a picture of her going around with a hole in her tongue and a loogie going back into a cup? You remember that?
No.
Yes.
You don't remember that?
A hole in her tongue?
Come on. Did you see the photos of it? It was gross.
She speaks with forked tongue. So
she does. She's one of those lizard people. So it's bound to happen.
Yes.
So no, I wasn't surprised about that, but I wish that there was more tranquilizers. I feel like she would have benefited from being more sedated throughout the campaign.
Bill would have liked that as well.
Yeah, true.
Let's see here. She was
awful.
suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems. Did you hear my joke today?
No.
You could have just stopped at psycho with Hillary.
Nailed it.
Including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness.
That one threw me off.
It did throw me off, too. It's like, what does a uncontrolled fit of cheerfulness even mean?
That's probably more scary than the anger.
Yeah.
Like if you're used to unhinged Hillary coming in and throwing things and cursing and yelling, and she came in and she's just chipper.
Yeah.
I'd be much more nervous.
Oh,
I'd be worried.
Run.
So, okay, we all remember when she was walking into that van and she collapsed.
Yep.
Remember?
And that was that. And just to remind everybody, everybody's always like, "Oh, I can't do anything." Like, what can I do? You guys are on the radio. That was an independent, just a civilian who took that video and completely changed the course of the election just by posting it on X. So anybody out there who's like, what can I do? It's like, you can do a lot.
Hold on. Has anybody done a well check on that individual?
No, I haven't heard from him.
Come on, they might have been killeried.
Do you remember that?
It was a shame. He committed suicide by jumping down the stairs and shooting himself twice in the back.
With a long gun.
Yeah, many such cases.
Do you remember the balloon episode where the balloons came down and she had this really weird sort of like manic look on her face?
Yes, because I remember the memes that came after that.
Memes.
Because her mouth was wide open.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. I wonder if that was one of those moments of uncontrolled cheerfulness.
Maybe. Balloons do that to people.
They don't do it to me.
No?
No.
I don't do it for my kids either. Usually it's like we're at Chick-fil-A and there's 4 kids and 3 balloons left. It's like, oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
It's about to turn Mad Max in here.
She was placed on that daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. And, again, probably could have been heavier.
It could have been.
Could have been heavier.
I want to run with that nickname someone pointed out in the YouTube chat, Ketamine Clinton.
Ooh.
Oh, my gosh.
A lot of people talk about that ketamine.
They do.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think we've talked about this before. Chris, you would know this. So what do people feel when you're on ketamine?
I have no
Come
idea.
on, druggy Chris, tell us.
I have no idea. Never done ketamine. Isn't that the horse tranquilizer?
It's what killed Matthew
Perry.
I'm pretty sure it's a horse
doctor just pled
tranquilizer.
guilty.
I don't think it's a horse tranquilizer. That's that other stuff for COVID.
Yeah.
That Joe Rogan took.
Ketamine has been used as an anesthetic for horses.
Joan, I told you it's
horse,
been a thing for horses.
It's a horse tranquilizer.
You told me. Hey, Chris, did you try to get a cup of coffee today?
No, I did not try to get a cup of coffee today.
It's a good thing because there's no coffee pot.
Beware.
They've all been shattered.
I've heard that Mandis didn't get his daily regimen of tranquilizer and came in here in a fit of rage when we were expecting cheerfulness.
So all I tried to do this morning was make a cup of coffee, and I destroyed the kitchen.
So how did you do this?
So I go in and I try to make a pot of coffee. And so it's the same thing every day. I make my coffee. I go talk to Joan. I come back and I get my coffee. I do that. I come back. There is coffee all over the counter, all over the floor. And so it turns out there is a wee little hole in the coffee pot. But I didn't discover that until the second pot of coffee. So I thought there's clearly something wrong with the coffee maker because we've had that issue before.
Wait, you broke 2 coffee pots?
No. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try this again. So I
And have you already cleaned up the glass and the coffee at this point?
Yes, I have. That's why I was so ill prepared this morning. So, because I was cleaning the kitchen. So I cleaned it up, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to try to make a second pot of coffee. Maybe it was the coffee maker and not the coffee pot. So I start making a second pot of coffee with that same pot, and it explodes.
No.
Yeah. And so I come back, and there's glass. And the kitchen that I just cleaned up is a mess again with all of that stuff. And
Wait, so the first time the pot was just leaking.
But I didn't realize it was the pot. I thought that it was somehow the coffee maker because we've had problems with the coffee maker before.
Got you.
Yeah. And so I had to get the slippery when wet sign from the office, from the janitor's office or whatever.
Bon Jovi album.
Yes, and I had to get the mop, and I actually had to mop and clean up I had to do everything.
Everything.
You're a jack of all trades.
And then I had to go and I had to tell all the other, people in the building, hey, beware, because I'm trying to clean up this massive mess in the kitchen.
So there was a walk of shame involved too.
A little bit of a walk of shame. You know what I could have done? I could have just left it and be like, I don't know who did that.
Can you believe somebody left that mess there?
Who would leave this mess? Because you and I both know that the cameras in there don't work.
I didn't know that.
Oh, they don't work. You know how I know that? Because people keep stealing my lunch. So if the cameras work, they would have been able to figure out who it is.
Stop bringing tasty food.
It's not tasty. My food sucks. I don't know why people steal it.
Why do you bring it if it's bad?
Well, because it's healthy.
Oh.
Avocados and the like.
Oh.
You know,
People like avocados.
I do avocados, and I do. Nobody cares about this. Cracker and cheese, little cracker and cheese snacks. So that's what I do.
He said nobody cares about this.
No, they
People
don't.
care.
Nobody cares.
How are you eating your avocado? Are you cutting it in half and going with a spoon?
Yeah, I bring it in a little. Well, no, you bring it in a plastic thing.
You bring your avocados in a plastic thing?
You mean
Jill,
like
please help me.
Like a Tupperware?
Yeah, Tupperware.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you bag your bananas before you bring them in too?
No, but you cut your avocado and then you have lime and you put a little lime on it. It's tasty.
Okay.
You
I'm
know,
not
you
judging
could-
the avocado.
you know what?
I'm just judging the manner in which you're breaking into this thing.
Judging avocados is like that's what happened to Hillary Clinton. If she had eaten healthier, she wouldn't have been so
It's
manic
true.
and weird. So
No, it's true.
Anyway, so again, nobody cares about that. All right, so you want to talk about what we're going to talk about today on the
let's
podcast?
do it. Let's do it. So we're going to be recording Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris, episode number 3 today.
Yep.
First 2 episodes.
Massively successful.
Yeah,
Huge.
massive success.
Joe Rogan is looking over his shoulder.
He should be.
Yeah.
He should be. Did you see that? I think it was CNN put out a list of the 100 greatest podcasts, and they left Joe Rogan off the list.
Did they really?
Yeah.
What?
Fake news.
Then that whole list is just bogus.
It's bunk.
Were we on there?
Yeah, we were at number 99. We just inched in.
Sure. Anyway,
we just inched in. They said, judging from the first 2 episodes,
yeah,
by next year these guys are going to be skyrocketing up
well,
the
and
list.
this one's going to be a banger.
Yes,
Because I have to do a deep dive into
Brigitte Macron's penis.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Le oui oui. So I want people to know, first of all, and I will not mention this on the podcast, but I'm actually doing this topic in protest because I don't understand why apparently Candace Owens is putting her career on the line,
And her credibility
on the line
Yeah.
by focusing on
Brigitte Macron's penis.
So that's what I've got to do for the next 3 hours between now and the podcast taping is I need to do a lot of, investigation and research into
Brigitte Macron's penis. Are you going to do Google image looking for bumps?
I haven't really thought about it.
That's what people do with the Michelle Obama theories.
Okay. But can I
They'll
ask,
be like, look at her dancing on Ellen.
can I ask though,
Oh, my
why
gosh.
is it that Candace Owens and others seem to think that she's a man?
They say that she is really her brother, and that she went through all these surgeries.
She is Macron's brother?
She is her brother. She's really
She was
Jean
born a man.
Michael Trudeau or something like that.
Okay.
And she was originally born a man. And that's the theory. They say that there's no pictures of her pregnant. It's a lot of the same kind of stuff that you get about the Michelle Obama rumors. But for me, it just seems like the French president is protesting a bit too much. You know, they reached out to Trump to have Trump reach out to Candace to ask her to stop talking about it. There was a defamation lawsuit from 2 French journalists that originally broke this story that has been thrown out of court.
Broke the story.
They broke the story.
Okay.
Yeah. They did.
What's the point of all this? Like, okay,
I don't know,
can I
but
just say this?
It's fun.
Can I say this? What if she is a man? Who cares?
Yeah.
I truly don't care. I mean, don't we?
I think that would change a lot of things because everybody knows and
What would it change?
That slug.
It would change.
When she slugged Macron in the face on the airplane.
I thought you were referring to
Oh,
something
no.
else.
The way she hit him. I mean,
Chris,
she probably really hurt him.
Yeah, she probably did. But I think there's some interesting points to be made. I mean,
All right. Well, save it for the thing.
Okay,
Save it
but
for the podcast.
She met him and he was like 14. She was
Right.
like 25 years older than him. If that's a dude,
25 years old?
yeah, 25, 24 years older.
So
then she
14,
transitioned
24, 34, 39. So she was 39?
She was like just about 40. Yeah.
Okay.
When she met Trudeau or Macron, sorry, and she was his teacher. So there's like a lot of weird grooming stuff going on in this relationship in the first place. It's a very weird relationship.
All right. So again, I'm doing this out of protest, but I will do it. And I'm going to do a lot of investigation into
Brigitte Macron's wee wee.
wee wee. We got to go.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm not.
Why?
But you know what?
It's gonna be fun though. We're gonna have fun.
I've got to figure out what to say about it because I think it's I don't know why Candace. She's a really smart woman.
I think that
I don't know why she is. Don't we have other things to look at and investigate? Why is she so obsessed with this? Whatever. If she wants to do that, okay. But I don't get it.
I just don't think that she. I mean, Candace has done so much at this point that I think she's just doing like almost passion projects. Like she's interested in it, so she's going for it. I think
John in Lawrenceburg says, Dan, just say no. No. I'm going to be a good sport about this. I'm going to be a good sport. All right, we got to go. 8:50, Nashville's Morning News. Very quickly, Chris, what are you doing for your show?
On the show, we will not be talking about Brigitte Macron's penis. We are saving that for the podcast, I assure you. What we are going to talk about is we're going to talk about the Spygate revelations from Tulsi Gabbard yesterday. We're going to talk about the media's coverage or lack thereof of that. We're also going to talk to Senator Marsha Blackburn about Obama and Spygate, as well as the DEI policies that are still being enacted at Vanderbilt while the employees caught under hidden camera besmirched Senator Blackburn's name.
Called her a representative.
I know.
What is wrong with you people at Vanderbilt?
They don't know anything.
All right. Brentwood, well, they know how to try to hide their DEI practices.
Yeah.
That's what they seem to be good at, but not really because they admitted it on camera. And she's going to be with you at 10:45.
Yep. Senator Blackburn will comment on all of that.
Do you think she'll have a comment about Brigitte Macron's?
I'll ask her. You want me to ask her?
That and when she's running for governor.
Perfect. I'll be like, Senator, 2 more questions before you go.
Make sure they're the last questions.
Your thoughts.
All right, we got to go. Brentwood Jewelry, listen, for over 50 years, Brentwood Jewelry has been proudly serving the Brentwood community with exceptional style and exceptional deals every day, again, for over 50 years. Now, this is a family-owned and operated business spanning 3 generations, and yeah, they are deeply rooted in the community of Brentwood and Middle Tennessee. From Salem Service and Special Forces to his son serving as local firefighters. The Amamali family, they are dedicated to giving back in a time when it is imperative to support local. You need to shop Brentwood Jewelry. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. That address, 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Find them online anytime, brentwoodjewelry.com. It's 8:54 on Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here for my friends at DT McCall's. By the way, coming up, Chris is going to ask me the following question. What is it you're going to ask me, Chris?
Who are you more looking forward to testifying, Ghislaine Maxwell or Bill and Hillary Clinton?
Okay, we're going to ask the room. So Joan have an answer prepared as well. Sam, you too. DT McCall's, a great Tennessee company. They are here for their fellow Tennesseans with great prices, selection, and value. Now, I've been telling you about DT McCall's for years. They've been helping people out for 3 generations. And if you need it, they've got it at DT McCall's. Indoor furniture, outdoor furniture, appliances, you name it, lawn equipment. DT McCall's has it. great variety, and terrific prices. What you need to do is go to their website, front page of their website. You're going to see all kinds of specials. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. $8:55, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, Joan, I do owe you an apology.
Why is that?
Because Sam was giving me the wrap-up sign.
The Windmill of Doom.
The Windmill of Doom, making me think that we didn't have any time for your tease. And so, turns out we have 5 minutes. So, real quick, Joan, what do you...
I can't give you 5 minutes worth of tease.
No, all I
Stretch
need...
it out. Maybe 3.5. Can you...
give me 4. No, just kidding. Wait, because Chris is going to ask us that question. But go ahead. What do you got coming up at 9?
Well, 1 town, 3 hospitals. What is happening with Clarksville? Also, the nation's biggest healthcare company has just announced that it is under investigation. And we're going to tell you why. Those are the stories coming up here at 9.
All right, so ask the question, and the rest of us will answer.
Okay, so we saw news yesterday that the House is going to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell as well as Bill and Hillary Clinton. So I posed the question to Dan off the air. Who are you more excited to see subpoenaed and interviewed by the House? Is it Bill and Hillary, or is it Ghislaine Maxwell?
I want Hillary. I can't wait to see Hillary because I want to see her go into a seizure.
I just feel like it's going to be Benghazi flashbacks.
Oh,
At this point, what difference does it make?
Oh, it makes a lot of difference, actually. And I think that there's a big difference between Hillary Clinton Benghazi and Hillary Clinton 2025. Joan, what do you think?
Oh, I definitely want to see the Clinton squirm. The squirmage will be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I low-key, I think Bill would be more entertaining than Hillary.
I think Bill has that I really don't care attitude. Like,
yeah,
how's this going to hurt me?
Mm-hmm.
But Hillary she's still edgy. She's still defensive.
She's psycho.
And she's psycho.
I mean, that's not me. That's the DNC talking.
Right.
Will she be on a heavy dose of tranquilizers that day?
I think there's possibility there.
You know, every time, and Sam, I'm going to get to yours, but every time I hear tranquilizers, do you know what I think of?
What?
I think of shooting her with an elephant gun.
Wasn't that in what movie was that?
I don't know,
with
man.
Will Ferrell. It was Old School. Old School. He got shot with a tranquilizer gun.
Yep.
He's like, oh, in the neck. You're crazy, man. You're crazy.
I think blow darts would be fun.
Here she comes. Get the tranquilizer gun.
Yeah.
All right. Sam, what do you say? Who are you looking more forward to testifying? Bill and Hillary or Ghislaine?
Definitely the Clintons. I think Ghislaine's either going to stick to what she said at her trial and, is going to go with a you give me a deal and I'll talk position to reduce her sentence.
Yep.
And I'm also with Representative Burchett. I wouldn't trust anything if it deviates from her testimony in court. So the Clintons hearing Bill get up there and talk about what? Very similar to our previous president.
Bill, Tim Burchett called her a liar and a dirtbag.
Which one, Hillary or Ghislaine? Because it could fit either.
Yeah, it could, actually. You need to be more specific.
Please be more specific. Well, I've said that the entire time. Ghislaine Maxwell, how much of a credible witness is she going to be?
She's not. She's going to say whatever she needs to say to be able to get her a good deal and out of prison.
Yep.
That's what she's going to say. So we'll have to see ultimately what happens. Todd Blanche, the assistant AG, or deputy AG, is going to talk to her today, as a matter of fact. So, to be a fly on the wall.
I know. It'd be wild, man.
So do you think she knows, what to say to get out of prison? Or, is her lawyer saying, here's what you say, wink, wink, nod, nod, so that they know that we can cut a deal?
I mean, is there
I don't know how that works.
Is there any way that she gets out of prison at this point?
I mean,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Not. She shouldn't.
Well, she was already found guilty, right? So it's not like they can go back and cut a deal on that.
It could.
He could negotiate. She won't testify unless there is a deal in place, regardless of what she says.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
There you go. Okay, very good. We've got Chris Hand coming up next, along with the news with Joan Jones. I will see you tomorrow right here. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning.